Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this, the 25th episode of Blood on the Thames, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in London, England. With me tonight,
Carlos, playing Moses of Clan Nosferatu.
Peter, playing Benjamin of Clan Malkavian. And Phil, playing Jim Roy Woods of Clan Gangrel in Torpor.
Yes. Unfortunately, we haven't got Rachel with us today. We miss you, Rachel, and hopefully we'll see you soon. And now we're just going to go straight in for the recap.
Okay, so at the start of the last episode, Benjamin had a sudden realisation that he had done a terrible, terrible thing. And he also realised that Edmund maybe had strayed a little bit from the path of wonderfulness. Having said all of that, he still delivered Edmund's letter and was somewhat shocked to find that the recipients of the letter were, in fact, the Nosferatu Sabbat that they'd encountered in the tunnels, and the same ones that had killed Foggy. The Sabbat basically choked him, intimidated him, and made him drink some blood from a fairly familiar-looking style of chalice.
Meanwhile, Moses finds a way through Michael Chase's security, and him, Jim, and Alisha manage to get into his flat. There are 3 security guys, a battle ensues, and after they overpower these 3 mortals, Katya alerts them that Michael Chase has left the building. Smelling gas, we epically jump off of the balcony of a 3rd floor with massive postures and his superhero landings in the process, and well, the building explodes.
So Benjamin has a not very pleasant car ride with a load of Nosferatu Sabbat, and he takes them to see Edmund, and after he's dropped them off, he has a quiet freak out, and then he goes and collects Fagin the cat and delivers Fagin the cat to Amelia so that they can have a happy time living together. Oh, good point. Yeah.
Glad no one missed it, Jim.
That's an important thing.
Also, Jim and Alisha leap on the back of Michael Chase's car. And it's a moving car at this point. So Michael is sent into torpor after a very nasty and bloody close combat encounter. And Jim is sent to the verge of torpor, all the way up to hunger 5. And then he decides to feed on the driver. It's me again.
It is you again.
So Moses watches the car crash from a safe distance, and Alisha takes Moses' bike and the torport Michael Chase and Jim, and they have a 3-people motorcycle ride off the place. Moses flees with Katya and hides in the sewers.
So Benjamin meets with Sabine from Clan Tremere, and he asks her to help Edmund. And not long after that, she summons Constable Jacqueline. And that was where the session ends.
Was indeed where the session ended. So, just to be clear, guys, the humanity roll for our beloved Gangrel was rolled a few minutes ago. I'm not going to tell you what the results were, because I'm that kind of evil. But they were rolled, and they were accounted for. So, yes. So let's begin with... We're going to begin with Benjamin, because it feels kind of like... I know it's not fair. That's why I did it. So... Oh, also, hi, Super Rat Lord. Thank you for joining us.
Oh,
Hello.
Hey.
So... Sorry, struggling with tech. There we go. So, you heard the door,
Yeah.
and then as the internal door opened up and Sabine walked through, the constable stepped through and considered you. Considered the Sabbat, and then considered you and you.
Mm-hmm.
And her expression is impassible.
Mm-hmm.
Despite being the shortest one in the room by far, she is filling it with her presence. And the way that she's considering you is... It's not openly hostile, but you get the feeling like she's analysing you.
Okay.
And that her intent there is not... it's not going to be a comfortable reason why she's there. Certainly not for you. And as she takes a step towards you, there's a moment where your beast begins to recoil, and you feel yourself kind of burrowing further into the sofa as she takes another step and another step with the floorboards creaking underneath her. And then as she stands over you, she leans in very close and whispers, "Where is your sire?"
He's at a storage facility, the big yellow box storage. He was sleeping there last night, and he was there, and I'll give her the address.
"You will take me." And she stands upright.
Okay, I'll get up. And I will start taking... I suppose I'll take her to my car, I guess.
Just as she starts walking out, Sabine just moves over and then whispers something closely to her. And she stops. And then nods. And Sabine grabs her coat, shuts the door and locks it, and then steps out after you. And then she starts making her way towards your car, and she gets into the front.
Sabine does.
And the constable climbs into the back, sat between you both, and just says nothing. She just waits, looking ahead, while Sabine just reclines back and just observes you, and then observes the place around her. And then after a few moments, she reaches over, grabs her seatbelt, and puts it on.
Oh.
The constable doesn't.
I'm gonna let it fly. Benjamin's gonna let it fly this time, but if there's an accident, he'll be wagging that finger. So anyway, I'll start off heading towards the thing, and as I'm driving, I'll say, it's not just Evan that's there. It's those Sabat as well.
I remember you saying, darling, that's why I've brought in the constable. I'm sure you don't mind.
No, not at all.
Of course, if your sire is keeping this kind of company, we want to do our best to speed up the process of removing the bad elements.
Yes, of course. I don't know. I just want to say that he's really not himself at the moment, and I like to think that of course when he saw the constable, he would realise that they were terrible company and all of that. But there is a chance that he might not, and I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know what I'm saying. I'll stop talking. I'll drive the car.
She observes you for a while, quite openly.
Sabine, this is.
Yeah, just observing you.
This feels like a far too familiar position for Benjamin to be in lately. Like...
Yeah, I mean, every time you've been in this position, it's been immensely uncomfortable. And it's always them doing the staring. It just feels, kind of... And you continue to drive, making your way back towards yellow storage. It's an uncomfortably long drive for you to get back through. Not only because there are people moving to get to jobs early in the morning.
So whilst we're driving, I will say, I really don't mean to insult anyone, but there are 3 of those Nosferatu, and they're very scary. And I know there are only 3 of us, and I'm really not very scary. I'm just saying, are we picking up anyone else on the way?
Who are you asking?
I don't think I'm making eye contact with anyone. I'm just putting the question into the air. It might, not be answered. He's fine with that.
I think we should be sufficient.
Oh, good. All right, fine.
You said there were only... how many?
3.
3. Are these individuals that have already been brought to the constable's attention?
Yes, they're the ones from the photograph.
And then you hear a ruffling of a paper unfolding, and then something just comes up next to you, and it's a photo, a copy of the photo that was basically taken back from Thimble of these 3.
Yes, those three.
Her hand calls back and then puts it back into the jacket. Well, suppose we're going to see what's what then. How is dear Edmund? Did you pass along my...
I'm very sorry. I didn't. He wasn't really himself. Well, as I was explaining to you when I saw him, he was quite agitated. There wasn't a lot of pleasantries, I suppose, and as I say, he was acting like he was going to leave, and then all of a sudden, he wasn't going to leave, and he I don't know how best to explain it. It's like he was giving me instructions and he was talking about things. I didn't understand them all, but he was preparing me, I think, for the fact that he was going to leave, and then it was strange. Then it was like he didn't know who I was, and he didn't know what was going on, and it's like I told you, he didn't know anybody or anything. I had to tell him, well, all kinds of things, and then and then he killed that man who was his friend, and I don't understand why. And it was horrible. I mean, it wasn't just that. I mean, killing is bad enough, but he took out his. I mean, with his hands, he took them out. He pulled out his organ. I mean, it was and he was deliberately. If he was that angry with Greg, if he wanted him to suffer like that, why was he so friendly to him before? It doesn't make any sense. It was like it was as if Greg had done something horrendous to him and he was making him suffer for as long as possible, but I don't know. I just know it was wrong, that's all.
And you went to get these individuals to bring it back to your sire?
Yes, he sent me with a letter to deliver to them.
To know that they are Sabbat?
Well, he didn't tell me they were Sabbat. He just told me their names and where to find them, and that I wasn't to read the letter.
Well, that's an awfully large amount for information for him to know, for an innocent kindred.
Well,
I'm just making conversation, darling.
Yes, I think the thing that confused me was that he knew who they were and where they were, but he didn't know who I was. And he didn't know who you were. And he didn't know who the constable was, and he didn't know who the prince was, and he didn't know who my coterie were. But he knew them. But I didn't know their names. I didn't know who they were until I met them. I just assumed they were... I'll shrug. I just assumed they were old friends, maybe very close. People he hadn't told me about before.
The rest of the drive is in silence.
Okay.
As they lapse into their own reveries, they stop asking questions, and without direct questions being asked, you feel no compulsion to draw into conversation even longer with these two women. And before too long, you finally pull up at that familiar place and slowly make your approach.
So, oh dear. He told me I wasn't to come back unless I had a phone for him.
I imagine that's not the biggest concern, given what you've told us.
No, it's just that when he gets unhappy, he gets very angry at the moment.
The back door opens as the constable steps out.
I'll get out of the car as well.
I'd rather make Edmund unhappy than her. And gets out.
Benjamin won't say anything because he doesn't want to disagree with Sabine publicly.
Okay, so you climb out the car?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, actually, no, I won't say anything. What are they doing?
Waiting for you.
Oh, okay. Are they waiting for me to go to the door? I'll say, so you want me to introduce...
Well, it sounds like introductions are now necessary.
Yes, quite. I'll go over.
They both start walking in time with you. The constable a bit further behind, and she's just observing the building as she's making her way towards it.
Okay.
You open the door?
Yeah, is it locked?
Trying it?
Yeah. Hello?
You hear bzzz, bzzz, and as you kind of glance around, there are flies now circling in the orbits of the remains of Greg, which are untouched. from how you left them. And the smell is far more rancid than it was before. And you kind of fight the compulsion to cover your nose as you go in, you know, without realising that you're not breathing. Sabine just looks over it, considers it, and then turns a lip up. And the constable just looks over, looks down the passage, and then looks at you.
So I will go past Greg into the. So I'm going kind of into the corridors, and I will sort of push my senses because I'm listening for the sounds of anyone moving around inside the building. But I'll be making my way in the general direction of where Abigail was kept, but also where the cellar was, somewhere towards. Whichever one is nearest, I'll be heading towards.
Okay, the cellar.
Okay.
So you begin making your way over towards the cellar, trying to remember the direct route to go in, because there are a lot of doors going back and forth, and forth. And then finally you manage to find the familiar one, and it's dark downstairs. Any lights that were down there have been turned off.
But I can see, assumedly.
Yeah, I mean, you can see most of what you can see. I mean, you can't see everything off this. It's not anywhere near as clear as it was previously. You still have heightened senses up.
Yeah. So, he might be down there, but he did sometimes sleep in the room. I'll point, because it's not very far away from this one. I'll go and check, shall I?
The constable moves behind you and then just puts a hand up onto your shoulder with a slight grip and then starts moving you down the stairs.
Okay.
And Sabine turns to her, smiles, and then steps off towards the other room that you indicated.
Okay.
You begin descending into the dark. You have heightened senses up?
I do, because otherwise I can't see.
Okay. You stop and you have a look around. And you can make out the pile from before. Irregular now, more so than it was before. The boxes over in the corner are not there anymore.
The ones with the European mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
The remains of Abigail is there.
Just dumped, or as it was, or?
Exactly how it was, left there.
No.
And they're magnificent.
And the surgical tools have been removed.
Okay. I'll say, oh no. I'll look at the constable and say, I think they've gone. There were things, boxes and things, that aren't here anymore. They were here.
She steps past you and then flicks on the light switch, and suddenly the room is illuminated with blindingly quite quick light, and you have to immediately shield your eyes before you suffer an intense pain from the sheer volume of light. And then as it dims down and you look over, you can see the remains of Abigail now in full detail. Not just shadowy shapes in the darkness that flooded this area, but her exactly how she left it, with an expression which looks far more pitiful and far more pained than you remember it being. But what grabs your attention more is the dust pile that was there was not there anymore. Instead, there are fabrics. The clothing that was upstairs has now been pulled into a pile. And sat atop this pile are 3 heads. 3 familiar heads.
Ooh.
All looking at you.
What 3 heads?
Stoffman, Ridget, and Canker.
Oh. Oh.
There is as Sabine comes down the stairs, and she stops and looks around. I notice a curious absence of Edmund, darling.
Yes, but I'll point at the heads.
The remains of 3 Sabbat.
Yes, I brought them here just a few hours ago. But that's good, isn't it? That's a good sign.
There's a strained look on Sabine's face, but then when you kind of look at her for a moment longer and she catches that you're looking at her, she forces a smile.
Ah.
Of course. The constable, however, is just moving over, and she picks up each of the heads and just looks at them. And she pulls out the picture in her pocket and just flicks it open and just studies each one. And then puts it back down into the pile and moves on to the next one. And everything else you said that you'd found here, darling, where are they now? Of everything you've mentioned, there are these and the body upstairs.
Yes. Sorry.
And one you failed to mention.
Oh, yes. 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 Sorry, there are some things that were here that have gone. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
There were some boxes. There were some similar boxes in the room upstairs as well. Maybe they are gone as well. They just had dirt in them, I think. Or unless I didn't look at them in detail. Maybe something was packed in with the dirt. I don't know. And they all had a mark. The boxes were marked. I remember that. I could probably sketch you the mark if you like.
Yes, I think that would be prudent.
So, it was like a European, wasn't it some kind of European mark or some kind of, like, yeah. So I'll sketch it.
It's like a very, very, very old family crest.
Okay.
But
So
you can't quite tell what family crest it was.
So I'll sketch it, and
Constable takes the paper, folds it, and puts it into the jacket. Just as Sabine leans in and goes, I'm more than happy to remove the evidence from upstairs, Constable. With your leave? She nods and then turns and walks up the stairs, pulling out her phone as she goes, and then steps up and then shuts the door. And the constable is now just staring at you.
I don't know where Edmund is now. What do you want to do?
You know him well.
Yes. Well,
And where is he likely to be?
Well, ordinarily I would say he would probably be at his gallery, but it's been destroyed. And the last I spoke to him, he didn't know. He asked me to drive him around. He didn't know where anything was. I don't know if he'd even know where to go. The only other place he knows about is my flat. But I don't know if he'd know how to get there from here. I took him last time.
Take me there.
All right.
And she turns and starts marching up the stairs, pausing only long enough to take the heads, wrap them in some of the cloth, and continue upstairs. She stops, looks back over towards the girl that's dead, mutters something, and then moves up the stairs, leaving you alone in the room.
Oh, well, I'll follow. If she wants me to take her to there. I will, if I've got time, I will stick my head literally just quickly into the door where Abigail used to be kept, just to see if that box that Edmund was sleeping in is still there or whether that's gone.
Still there.
Do I think it's possible Sabine just didn't realise he was in the box? I mean, okay. I don't know if Benjamin has the courage to open
Wait, sorry, the box he was in or the box that Abigail was in?
the box he was in.
Oh no, that's gone.
That's what I
The
assumed.
Abigail's one still.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. So I'll go.
Sorry.
I just imagined Sabine like, no one in here, and then just like, all right.
Oh look,
With her
really
arse
thorough
and
check.
everything.
Oh. Natural ones.
Yeah, okay. So I'll take the constable to my car. Is Sabine coming with us, or is she?
She's out in the foyer speaking on the phone, and then as the constable goes by, she starts lowering the phone, and the constable just raises her hand, and then steps outside with you. And the constable just watches her go, looks back, and then resumes going on the phone.
So, and as we go, when we're in the car, does she get in the back or the front?
The constable?
Yeah.
She gets in the front.
Okay. So as I'm starting the car up, I'll say, he might have gone to my flat, I suppose, because I did show him my flat. And the only other place I know, and I don't even know exactly where it is I'll open my glove compartment and take out the map. I'll say, there was this other address mentioned. He didn't ever say why, but he does know about it, and I'll point to where I've circled it on the map, but it's here. I don't know, I just thought it might be important, so I made a note of it, but I don't really know where it is or if he has any connection to it. Do you have a preference in which one I go to?
Your place first.
All right, so I'll drive there.
Okay.
Has she put a seatbelt on this time?
Frenzy check. So, meanwhile, the sewers have never looked more inviting. And if you could be pumping full of adrenaline, you probably would. Mm-hmm. And although you can't feel the physical effects of the adrenaline because you don't have any, you've got the psychological effects of just being, holy fuck and holy fuck, and then holy fuck, kind of all at once, because what you've just done is
I try to get Katya and myself into any nearby train or tube station. They're gonna be all closed by now, so we could walk in and out or use those tunnels.
Okay. So you start making your way towards one of the nearest tube stations, and absent the bodies, and just with you and Katya and the equipment that you've taken, it's relatively easy going. And you're happy to have, even though it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, you're happy to have a somewhat leisurely pace as you're making your way away from the crash sites.
Yeah, exactly.
You can already hear the sirens overhead, louder now than they were before.
Okay.
And it's almost like you can hear them in the music just saying, fuck's sake, Jim. Louder and louder.
Yeah, the thing is that, it was a massive car crash and it was a massive disaster, but I think we can always pin it on the so bad.
Yeah, good.
So that's what I talk about with Katya in the meantime. It's like, okay, this is good. This is well, not great, but good.
Yes, it did go better than I thought it would.
Yeah, we're alive, or not, but we're here. So,
yes.
Okay. That's one down.
Where did Alisha say she was taking Jim?
She didn't.
Right.
She took both Jim and Michael Chase.
And left us next to a burning car.
It's okay. We are going to my condo, because from here that's the closest place, because it's 3 a.m.
Yes.
And it'll take us a good while down in the walking on the tube station to get to my place.
Right, well, the moment we're back above ground, I'm going to... Well, I need to make a phone call.
Let's wait until we are above ground, then you can use the lines in my house. They're secure.
Right, well, lead on.
Just take you to my house. I think we were in the northeast of the city?
Northwest.
Northwest of the city. Okay, that's good, because I know...
No, well, also, for Michael Chase was...
After the...
Yeah, you were in the northwest. For Michael Chase was...
Kensington.
In Kensington, yeah. So that's West England. West England? Wow. Whoa!
All the way to
trail.
Bristol.
Yeah,
okay, so Yeah, because my flat is north of the river, so but it's not north. It's like a good condo. It's a little far off, so we're not that far away. Like we're a lot closer to my condo than to the southwest where we live in Camberwell. So yeah, it's gonna be at least a 45-minute, 1 hour walking. I mean, it's gonna be the source. It's not like we can tread lightly, walk. Especially with the backpack and the guitar case, and so yeah, make it underground all the way to the condo. And once there, I provide her with a secure line for her to make a phone call, while I grab the laptop, put it in my setup, and immediately try to hack the CCTV network. I want to see what has been recorded of the chase.
Okay. We will say, because it might take you a bit of time to get it. So it'll be resolve plus technology. Networks does apply.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Katia steps off and away, out of earshot, pulls up her phone and just begins speaking. Don't hear who she's speaking to or what she's saying, but she steps out of earshot, and she's gone for a little while. Not too long, but a little while. So what's your role when you've managed to do it?
Yeah. You said resolve plus technology plus networks, right?
Yep.
How about this? Here we go. Two successes. I am. Have we recovered any willpower?
Yeah, you two would have, yeah.
Ha! I reroll willpower. I just won more successes, so it's 2 dice that I can reroll. Happy critical! That is 5 successes.
Okay, that's a lot better.
Yeah, because I had already a 10, so I decided to roll 2 10. The other one was nothing, but it's happy critical, 5 successes total.
Okay. It does take you a while. Katia finishes her phone call and comes back in and starts looking around, like in that reserved Katia way, without actually going into any of your things or into any other rooms, just kind of slowly pacing while you're working. And it takes you a while to go and cut into the CCTV. But when you do see the CCTV footage, there are a few moments based on what you can see where you can, it looks quite clearly like people are hanging on to a car. But, I mean, it's not, there's no like clear-cut image that you can see, and this is by scrolling back and forth through all of the footage that you, and this is a lot of footage that you've gone through. Yeah, there's nothing that makes you go, oh my god, she has claw hands, but it's more like, damn, she's strong, and you know.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to, because be honest, I probably went knowing the starting point, the end point, and me being actually in the chase, I know which streets we're taking. Yeah. So I know which cameras I'm trying to find, if there are any.
Fortunately, the image of you and Katia on the back of the bike, neither one of your faces are caught because you have the helmet on, and Katia has her face turned away when she's going, just because of how quickly you're going.
Yes, it's probably pressing herself.
Yeah. So her face is outside of shot, although your bike's license plate does flag. You do see it. And as you are taking off after the car and you follow it onto the subsequent frames, the only bit that strikes you as quite shocking, because all of the camera angles do not capture the internal part of the car. Nothing beyond the flashing of something that could maybe be a sword. There are no visual images of anyone being cut open or anything similar that might be flagged as well.
Or like a splash of blood in the window.
Because no one in that car bled apart from the driver, and by that point, when you came off road, there was no CCTV camera to capture that. The thing that is maybe questionable is the fact that the boot is pulled off of its hinges and chucked. And then as you kind of look at it, there is a moment that goes, fuck. The only bit of substantial evidence that is not going to be touched by the fire is the 5 claw marks punctured through the boot that was hurled down the road as she climbed into the boot.
Okay.
But those are the only 2 things that make you go, Huh. Because you could probably justify this as someone that was really hyped up on drugs.
Or someone who used like a device or whatever.
Similar, but the fact the claw marks.
Those files, I'm gonna download them.
Yep.
Through.
You got a critical win, so I'll let you do what you want with this, within reason.
Within reason, what I want is to mirror. I'm gonna download it, but never traceable to me. And what I'm gonna do to make it within reason. Remember the sleeper code I left at the police?
Yep.
I'm gonna use it to, as I'm already inside hacking, remotely activate that and wipe it. So they lose all evidence of her and Katya and myself. Footage of the chase is gone.
Okay.
And I burn my sleeper super user.
I'll say make intelligent plus technology plus network plus 2. Because you are using your code. But regardless of the results of this, your code within the police station will be gone.
Yeah, because it was a one-time thing, but I would rather have the only surviving copy of that. I can always try and put another one, but it will have to be different. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I touched this one. That's 4 successes.
4. Okay.
Let me check, because I really want to willpower this. Oh, we recovered the willpower you said.
Yeah.
But I already had 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I'm
4
gonna.
successes.
I am at 4 successes, but there's a 10 that's looking at me like ugly.
Okay.
So I'm just.
So no critical wins.
Yeah,
Wait.
He's burning.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just making note.
But it's not gonna happen twice. So. But I make it to 6 successes.
6. Okay. One more than you needed. So, through the combination of your code and the realization that, the constant little memory, tiny little memory in the back of your head of the prince slowly decapitating someone and issuing a warning about the Masquerade breaches, and the fact that the prince obviously knows you guys, even if he doesn't see your face on camera, that kind of gives you the the motivation that you need to press through and really work on this. And by the time you finished it, not only have you managed to clip out that footage, you've managed to loop it in such a way where there is no evidence that anything has been cut. It's actually quite marvelous. And if you could waste the rest of your evening just admiring
the code again, I would. But I think it'll take me the rest of the night to deal with this.
Yeah. So all that footage is deleted.
Well, except for my copy.
So you're keeping the copy?
My high digital copy of a. I need an insurance policy. Something to put. Actually, I put it in my insurance policy. Like, should I die?
Okay.
Burn the world, and have that footage conveniently being shown to certain sensitive people.
Okay.
Again, I will update that. Send it to you later. Who will be getting what? That's my insurance policy.
Okay. Trying not to. So, now that you're working on that, I will cut back to you in a moment. He's so gentle and sleepy.
I know, bless
I know.
him.
You just don't want to wake him. Well, you guys might want me to wake him, but we'll see about that. Meanwhile, you have been making your way back towards yours. And this, it makes you feel more comfortable, even with the constable there. It's far more comforting knowing that you're returning to a place that you know well. Mm-hmm. And you make your way up into your own room. And the moment you open it, there is a gut-wrenching feeling as though you were about to walk in on something that you do not want to walk in on. But you going in?
Hang on. Let's just take a moment
Yeah,
to analyse this gut-wrenching feeling that tells. So, is it that kind of thing where you? Is it like the equivalent of feeling like you're about to walk in? I don't know, on some people having a good time. When you know, is it like that? Is it like this kind of thing of, oh God, I don't want to be here?
It depends on, you know, what your gut reaction would be to that kind of situation.
Well, I think Benjamin will hesitate, but fundamentally it's A, his flat, and B, the constable is here, so he can't just turn around and walk off. So unless there is anything more than just, I have this horrible feeling that I'm gonna, and I'm assuming it's not like that hot cold thing that I've had before.
No.
So I'll probably, if the constable is paying attention, I will probably have a bit of a...
She's right behind you.
I will probably have a moment where I think, oh, and then I'll open the door.
You step inside, and that feeling just slowly ebbs when you look around and the place looks as you left it.
Hello? Hello? I'll have a quick look around the flat, see if anyone's in it.
Okay. Okay. Constable moves in after you. Excuse me again. Apologies, guys. And she lingers in the doorway. She doesn't go straight in, but she's watching you whilst turning her head towards the different doors, almost as though she's listening. But she says nothing, and she steps no further in as you make a slow circuit of your flat. And then, when you get to where your bedroom is,
Yeah.
you put your hand on the doorknob and you feel a cold sensation go up your arm.
I'll stop. Do I hear anything inside?
No.
Okay. I'm going to backpedal away from the... Well, has the constable followed me to this point, or can she see me from where she is?
No, she's staying where she is.
Can I see the constable from where I am?
Yeah.
Okay, I will stop at the door, and I will look back at the constable, and I'll look at the door, and I'll look worried. And then I'll go back to the constable. So I think, I don't know, I have this bad feeling about going in there.
She steps past you and moves over towards the door.
Okay.
Puts her hand on it, looks over at you, and then...
Okay.
And then stops in the doorway.
Alright, I'll go and approach kind of behind her.
Edmund's inside. And he is sat on your bed,
Okay.
just looking at the door. And the moment that he sees the constable, he looks up, studies her for a moment, and then as you step into frame, he looks at you and then smiles. Good evening to you both. Unfortunately, I was not expecting company. Otherwise, I probably would have dressed a little better. Constable. I apologize for breaking in, Ben, but this is... I came under attack by 3 individuals.
Oh, well, that's of course all right. I just didn't expect anyone to be here. I was,
Well, when I sought safety, you were the first one that came to mind. I apologize, Constable, if you've been pulled away from more important business. But I suppose that I should be thankful you're here. I did wish to seek an audience with yourselves. Would you mind, Ben, if we had that conversation here for the sake of efficiency?
no, of course not.
I can for the sake of not intruding on your space, I welcome you to be a part of said conversations.
Oh, thank you.
If the constable is amicable to the idea. And she's just watching him very carefully. And then she looks over at you from the corner of her eye. Expectantly.
What the constable does?
Mm.
I'll say, sorry, what did you say? I'll look at him.
Who?
Because he was the last one to speak, wasn't he?
Would you be happy for us to have that discussion here?
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry, yes.
Excellent. Perhaps in your living...
Oh, right, yes. I'll backpedal out the bed.
And he stands up. And he brushes himself off. And then steps over towards the door as the constable just watches him move past her without moving. And he makes sure he doesn't touch her, but as he moves past, he just inclines his head and steps over into the other room. And then he goes and sits down on the edge of the sofa. The constable moves over towards the wall and just stands there and just looks at him. And then Ben just gestures towards the seat across from him.
Do you mean Edmund?
Edmund.
Yeah, I will. I will.
Or do I?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll go and sit down.
Well, it's no secret, Constable, that I have a history with the Sabbat. You yourself were present during the coordinated attack on their cells during the Blitz. I believe I even fought alongside you on a few occasions. I was a different kindred then. I was controlled by needs I did not understand. I believe I've even told you about this, Ben, this period of my life.
Yes.
I believe you said we've spoken about it recently, in fact.
Yes. Yeah, yes. Just... Oh. 2 nights ago?
You see, I go through periods where the tediousness of everything just makes things blur. But in a way that does help in the long term, because fighting against my enemies and the enemies of the glorious Camarilla gives me a sense of purpose. And it is with that that I threw myself into that conflict. And I must confess my sins, Constable. When I did throw myself into those battles, I came across a particular entity which held a rapt fascination for me. You've witnessed it yourself, Ben. How did you describe it? Perfection?
Like it's almost indescribable. It's well, both adjectives apply. You know, both good and bad at the same time. It's.
But it was hypnotic.
Yes.
And for kindred of our tastes, the idea of destroying such a thing was intolerable, despite the dangers it posed, and I admit to my fault in keeping the thing whole, undestroyed. And I feared the reaction of the Camarilla, and thus I kept it secret, and for that I am wholly guilty. And when the Sabbat were destroyed, run out of London like the rats they are, I did not see the downside of maintaining such a unsavory hobby. But now, well, they've returned, and their attack on my gallery made it abundantly clear that they had not forgotten and that they had sussed what had happened. There was no other reason to target me in such a way. I'd been extremely efficient in my culling of their numbers, as you'll recall, but not to the degree where I should warrant such a personalized attack. So I returned to the place where I had kept this monster. And before you, I destroyed it. And the act of destroying so perfect a thing, something so gripping to my own mind, I lost a sense of myself. And Ben, you helped me to recover who I was. And it's come back to me now. And as I was struggling, I sent you to message individuals in the Nosferatu that I believe to be trustworthy, but they showed their true colors. I know you warned me, Ben, but I did not believe that they would turn. And I had to see it for myself. You told me as well, reminded me in my moment of confusion who I could trust. I guess I needed evidence that your list was... well. Constable, I realize this is an extreme oversight on my part. And the small act of destroying these traitors, I hope will in some way show you that I do not mean to accept this incursion on our city lying down. In fact, I have begun taking steps to ensure that the Sabbat are run out of London once more, and that any damage to the Masquerade as a result of their attacks is minimalized in the entirety. The constable turns to you. The other address.
Yes?
We will go there now. She turns towards the door.
Right. Say, good night, Edmund. Of course, you can stay here. And I'll scurry off after the constable.
She stops and looks over at him expectantly, and he stands. No, of course, I will proceed with you until you dismiss me.
Oh. Sorry, no, I didn't. Oh, I'll run off.
And you begin making your way back out to your car.
Okay.
Meanwhile, what are you doing, Moses?
After I do the hacking and I clear...
And the happy dance from your success.
Yeah, of course. I am doing that, getting my insurance, and when I go, I just open a quick chat window to a certain beautiful, beautiful, sexy woman that's out there in Shreknet.
Oh, there's so many.
But there is only one that is beautiful, beautiful, sexy. The other ones are just sexy or beautiful. But this one.
Well, I don't think Plucky Jake would admire being called a woman, but.
I said Shreknet.
Oh.
Stop laughing, Phil.
You're dead, Phil.
You're in torpid. And I asked her for a little information. This is just a friendly short, it's a simple short chat. And I let her find the information. Just go off and get it.
Depending on what information you're after.
And I actually start making arrangements. What time is it?
Time is closing in on about 4.
I asked Katya, what?
It's only because it's only that early because you got that critical win. Otherwise, it'd be much later.
Yeah. Oh wait. There. I needed to write an extra word. I am running low on delivery systems. I use like other stuff in the past, so I will give this my best teenage effort.
Dun 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 dun.
It's not bad. I mean,
I just wanted to get it across
If
the
I can't
room.
find it.
Oh no!
No! I'm gonna have to assume you said something else.
No.
No?
I can write it down and resend it. Okay. And I'm gonna start getting all of my gear. Important gear.
Okay.
And I get my guitar case.
I mean, that can happen, but it's not. Well, you
Not
can
for tonight. It's like, hey.
You can predict her answer, right?
According to my last conversation,
Mm-hmm.
she was the go-between. And
No. I don't mean in terms of like favors or anything like that.
like boons and stuff. No.
No. You can
Okay.
anticipate her response.
Oh, she's gonna go.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do need to find Alice. So there's some sort of information that I need to get. And I mean, Goldilocks doesn't like me that much. I mean,
Goldilocks doesn't like anyone.
fair point. So I would rather talk to her as my middle sexy carrion.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get everything. And when I say everything, it's like everything that I can carry, like my GameCube and some games, hard drives that I have not taken because I already took a couple of the hard drives from the footage of Alisha and Sarah. So information and stuff. Basic things that I need, and I go to my other haven. I tell Katya I'm not spending another night with the ghost here. My door's still broken and the Sabbat out running on the loose.
I mean, the ghost isn't. Okay.
The ghost is, I felt it burning my brain. And then I had the Sabbat messing with my brain. I'm starting to believe a lot more Benjamin's words about having, like, brains. Stop being smug.
Somewhere across the city, you've got a smile. You just can't explain.
So, if you can deal with the ghost, I would very much appreciate it.
It's not something that can happen that quickly, Moses.
Exactly. So I can come here and have a little conversation, but I'm not spending the day here.
It's probably better if we don't spend the day here, given what's just happened.
So you're welcome to stay at my other haven, or you can go back to my condo and I will give you the keys. Or I can sort of find a way for you to get anywhere else in the city. But I don't even have my motorcycle anymore.
No, I can make my own way back. I need to go and speak to Sabine.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you need cash for the taxi? It'll be a lot faster.
If you're willing.
I just give her, I don't know, 20 quid or 30 quid so she can just grab a safe taxi and go. Get there before dawn. And you're the only one with the number I have on my current burner. So you know where to find me and how to contact me. Don't share it, please.
No, I wouldn't.
Need anything from me?
This'll do. And she starts walking towards the door. She stops, looks back over the door frame, plucks a spider, and then walks up.
Oh, that's where they were. So, well, what has two thumbs and is getting the hell out of here? This guy here. So, I make it out. It's one. Yeah, it's close. No, I'm not risking it. I'm just going all the way to my other haven, in which I can go into my servers, my shadow Shreknet servers, and I start. I give a call back to Benjamin on my way back, as I have signal.
I'm driving the car, right? I can't answer the phone then. That'd be dangerous.
Bzzz.
I don't even leave a message. I just hang up, send a text. You said to call after we've finished. We've finished. Where are you? I need to talk to you.
Okay.
Bring me back.
Okay.
Yeah, they take my guitar, my backpack, and my stuff and leave. But yeah, in my other haven, I'm gonna flare up Shreknet because I want to see the chatter on the Shreknet and see if there's people there. Well, Maurice is not gonna be there, but maybe there are other vampires that are aware of this. Even people outside of London on the Shreknet that are aware of what has happened, because I want to find out who was killed, what happened with the other two explosions, where were they? I didn't even know that. I have a vague idea. I want to know where were the other explosions, who was killed of the kindred. So I don't know, maybe one of the hosts of the French Shreknet server? Someone? Anyone that has any information? That's in my heaven I have a laboratory advantage, extra dice for that connectivity. So if I need to make any rolls or whatever.
Okay. Well, we'll go back to you in a moment. You're driving even more carefully than you normally do. There's something about having a destructive, ancient vampire next to you, quite pious, that makes you feel like your every action's being scrutinized. And having Edmund sat behind you is deeply unnerving. You cannot shake the feeling that the memories of Greg in your mind as you are driving. And then the moment that you start feeling sickened by it, the memory is then trumped by your own memories of Abigail. Which again slows you even further as you're making your progress, but not one of the kindred comment as you are making your way over towards this building. And when you finally get there, it looks to be a fairly nondescript house that is nestled amongst others. There's very close to where a bar is that's recently been renovated.
Okay.
Despite the fact it's recently been renovated, it still looks like a shithole.
A dump.
Okay.
Yeah. There's not a lot of traffic here. There are a few people going up and down, foot traffic, a lot of it. There's one or two vandalized bus stops. But the people that are moving up and down don't look like the kind of people that you'd expect to see in quite a rundown area. They seem to be either making their way through it, or they do inhabit it, and the area just looks deceptively grimy when you look at it. And the address that you come to is this particular house, which is almost identical to all the other houses that you can see. The garden's slightly overgrown, but other than that, it appears fine. The curtains are all drawn. There is a first floor to it, and there is a passage that goes around to the back.
Okay. I'm going to stop the car and wait for my seniors to do whatever they're going to do, I guess.
The constable looks in the rearview mirror at Edmund, who smiles at her, opens up the door and climbs out, and he waits for her to join him. And then once she's out, they both look at you.
I'll get out of the car, I guess.
Okay. So, they begin making their way over towards this building. And it is very, very quiet. You can't hear it. I'm assuming you still got...
I will now that we're out the car, yeah.
So you can't hear any movements from within. At first, as you're slowly making your way around the side of the building, you stop and you can hear what sounds like something rotating or swinging, but you can't quite tell what it is.
Are the other two reacting in any way to it?
The constable's not.
Say...
Edmund's just walking behind you, his hands in the pockets of his jacket.
So, I think there might be something in there.
There is.
Does Edmund say that? I won't say anything else. Am I still getting this kind of cold sensation, like when I was at the door from him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Would you like me to go first, Constable? She nods. And he steps past you, smiling at you as he goes past, and moves over towards the back door. He takes out a key, slides it into the lock, and twists it. Then opens up the door. Lights on or off? Seems to be a general question.
I'll let the constable answer that.
She doesn't respond, so in the end he just flicks the light on. I'm assuming you're dipping? Yep. So, you open up the door, he opens up the door, and begins making your way into this house. And it's very Spartan in its furnishings, but it's clean. It's very clean. And you enter in alongside the constable, and he shuts the door. He doesn't go to lock it. And then starts making his way over towards the stairs, and then pauses at the base, gestures for both of you to follow, and then begins making his way up.
I'll go.
Okay.
Sort of sense of impending doom.
Okay. So, you start making your way up the stairs. And the top of the stairs, it branches off into a T shape. There is a room off towards the left, which is on its own at the very end of the corridor. And there's a room directly to your right that curls back on itself. And there's another room directly on the far end. And he starts making his way over towards the very far end on the right.
Okay.
The constable is behind you.
I'll glance back at her. Does she look like she's intending to follow?
She, with the collar turned up, her hands in her pocket, she's just staring at you as you're walking.
I'm not trying to mask the fact that I am experiencing dread in this moment. But I'm not saying anything. And I'll follow Edmund.
Okay. You continue walking up towards the door. And Edmund is just waiting there. And it's only once you've both gathered before him and he goes, I apologise in advance for the mess. Places a hand on the door and opens it and then pushes it. and it's a dark room beyond. But he reaches over behind the door frame, and flicks the light, and it's suddenly a burst of illumination. And in this room, suspended from the ceiling by hooks, is a topless individual, a man that has been suspended, that has a stunted mohawk. One eye is missing, and is just swaying, not moving, not speaking. The constable is studying this individual, and there's a look of recognition on her face, and then she looks over at Edmund. I was busy. I'm sure you recognize Alexander, Constable. And the constable steps further into the room, but not past either of you.
Okay.
Seems like she's positioning herself clearly in front of the door. And she just observes the individual that's hanging. And Edmund's just watching you.
Well, I think Benjamin is mostly going at the figure hanging from the ceiling. As a question, obviously normally I'm filled with nothing but joy in Edmund's presence, because he's wonderful.
The core sensation you've been feeling right now is terror and a sickening sensation at what's been done. I mean, you still feel affection for him, but at the moment, whether or not that is, it's not like, oh no, I feel sick, but overwhelming love for Edmund. It's at this moment, it's like dipped. I mean, you still feel affection for him, but it's like no matter every moment where you're like, oh, he's amazing, is suddenly, but he's done this.
Yeah.
And that is a portion at the forefront of your mind.
And obviously this is adding to... I'm assuming that this topless guy looks like he might be a vampire rather than a human, as in he looks assumedly pale and gaunt rather than...
Yes.
And assumedly like a dead body almost, rather than a live one.
Yeah.
So who's this?
Alexander was one of the key members of the Sabbat that occupied London.
Oh.
A thorn in the side of the Camarilla for a long time. Also one of the perpetrators against the attacks. And through our mutual acquaintance, we have learned the identity of some others. I was making it a priority over the next while to identify and remove those individuals in the name of the Camarilla and Prince Emrys.
Right. Okay.
I realized that the attacks on me and the curious nature of certain individuals would paint me in a bad light. I am very keen to show where my loyalty lies. Constable, if you wish it, you are more than welcome to take this individual into custody, although I would ask to be present during the questioning. I do wish to share in my displeasure. If that's agreeable. She nods. And then turns from the room and starts making her way out. Back down towards the stairs. And Edmund moves over towards the door and grabs the door and starts pulling it. And then he stops and glances at you. You have no idea what's coming. When you finally do, it'll be too late. And he shuts the door and marches off after the constable. And that sinking feeling you've had, that fear, magnifies. Because you are struggling, really struggling, to remind yourself that this is Edmund.
Yeah, because obviously from my point of view, he doesn't seem like Edmund at all.
No.
He seems like someone else. The way he talks, the way he acts. Because obviously Benjamin spent quite a lot of time studying Edmund for purely platonic purposes. But, yeah, okay.
Okay.
So he has left, the constable has left.
They're not left the building, they're waiting at the bottom of the stairs.
Okay, well I'll... And he obviously said that after the constable had left, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, well I'll go join them, I guess.
Okay. So, for the rest of the night, is there anything you two want to do in the last hour you have? Although, for the majority of that, that's going to be driving for you.
Because I mean, I haven't been entirely dismissed yet by either of them, so I'm...
But, I mean, working on the assumption that you're going to be dismissed in a short while, I assume you're just heading somewhere to sleep?
Yes.
Right. Carlos, is there anything you're doing?
Information about the exact places where the attacks took place.
Okay.
Like, besides the gallery, what other places? Because I heard Jim and Katya and Alisha mention 3 explosions.
Yes.
I mean, I was in frenzy and then captured, and I don't remember anything. But they said a lot of that stuff. And then with the old radio, a lot of people died. Yeah. And I want to see how is the kindred community affected by it. So I'm effectively looking for answers in the ShrekNet. Any files on any
So based upon what little information you've managed to pick up on the ShrekNet on the short amount of time you have left, you get the feeling that quite a few kindred were caught unawares. There are quite a few notable names which are listed, which are notable names to the Nosferatu, not necessarily to you, who are listed as being missing or going into hiding, returning to the havens, not been seen, not been active. And there are a few key individuals who, whilst they were caught by surprise on the attack, have immediately began launching their own retaliations in order to try and mitigate the damage.
Any confirmed killed?
None that you can see on the ShrekNet, but this is basically a surface sweep. And the only reason you're getting anything from the surface sweep is because it's pretty big news. But you do get the feeling that there are a few times where your reports are mentioned. And the fact that the presence of the Sabbat outside of Reading meant that the Nosferatu were preparing for the eventuality of this. But you don't get too far before you start feeling a heavy lethargy going over you.
Sorry to interrupt. There is one thing I want to do, and that's phone him, because he left a message.
Okay, so you are feeling this lethargy. There are a number of people which are just dropping off ShrekNet.
Where were the other attacks? Just basically areas?
There was one very close to Baker Street Station in the subway tunnels.
Subway's near Baker Street. Isn't that near the... Isn't that Goldilocks domain?
Yeah. And
so I got it. Yeah. My message to Sexy Pearl still stands.
Yeah, okay. So...
And the other one?
The other one is close to a shopping gallery. It was inside the shopping gallery. You can't get the name off of the ShrekNet because the surface conversation is just shopping gallery.
Oh, yeah.
It's obviously known which shopping gallery, but in your surface, because you've got an hour before you just drop. And it's during this time, as you are trying to push away from ShrekNet and staggering over to your room, you'd start phoning. This is by the time you would have gone back to your flat.
Okay.
Okay. Bzzzt.
If it's Benjamin, I pick up immediately. Hello?
Hello, Moses? Moses?
Thank God you're safe.
I was going to say the same about you.
Okay, it's late, very late.
Yes, let's... Can I meet you tomorrow?
Yeah, sure, What was it that... did you need help earlier tonight?
I'll explain tomorrow. I'll explain tomorrow. I don't think anything else is going to happen tonight.
Where are you spending the night? I'm not at the cross hands.
Nor am I.
Okay. Where are you?
I'm my flat.
Okay. I will call you when I rise.
Yes. All right.
If not, do the same.
Oh yes, I will.
Just take it easy, Ben.
You too.
See you tomorrow. Hang up immediately. Text Alisha. Where can I pick up my bike? Smiley face, winky face. Send. Send it. And then, so she wakes up to a nice message. Oh.
One on target. Oh, I love you too, Carlos.
I'm so happy that it's not unrequited love. Just so you have that in the back of your head.
Okay. So, we are going to pop to a very quick break now because we've ran slightly over. Don't worry, Jim.
He's been having the leap of his life.
Are we rousing him?
He's been chuckling there.
You've been chuckling. He's slightly awake now.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Do we have any questions from chat?
Oh, we have plenty.
Okay, let's put them on hold. Let's do the Board of the Dead. But before that, I have
If you just compile them for us, Callum, we'll jump straight to
you compile them so we have them ready. I have two quick shout-outs to give.
Yeah.
Well, then let's start with the first one. Happy Easter for those of you who have like Easter as a bunnies and chocolate eggs kind of thing. So huge shout out to Phil.
Yay! Phil.
Who provided us with our own massive, and I do mean massive, chocolate eggs.
Yeah.
Which I will be eating instead of Jaffa cakes just for today because it's Easter.
Don't worry, I'm making up for that.
But it's okay, yeah, there are Jaffas out there.
Yeah.
Another huge shout out, it has to be said, is to our ghoul number A, aka Callum. Together, you already know that we had technical difficulties today, but he came up with a brilliant idea, and now you're watching us slightly later. But he sorted everything, but taking care of all the techie stuff on his own. So lots of love to our techie ghoul number A.
Yeah.
And let's go now to the Board of the Dead. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the relationship map.
Yeah. A relationship map.
Yeah, you don't want to hand the wrong thing over there.
Okay. Can I even get around here? I don't know. All right. So the main shifts are over at Benjamin's end of the board. So Michael Chase has disappeared from his position over here, but Danielle is back. She was on the cool board, and now she's back in play. And the other thing that I'm quite excited about is this really long red string that runs from Benjamin down to our Sabat, which of course they're going to come off given the latest events.
Yeah, they had this Voldery kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there was a connection between Benjamin and the three scary, hairy, and spiky Nosferatus.
Who we now know were Stoffman, Kanker, and Ridget.
Who are now
Incidentally, the moral of this story is don't fuck with Benjamin, otherwise you die in the next session. I'm pretty sure that's what Titus was going for.
Man.
So that's that on the main map. But we have more.
Yeah.
And for that, I think there's one thing I'm going to mention, and then I'm going to pass over to our Master of Torpor to handle the other bits. Mm-hmm. So on the not cool section of the board, we have added Cutter with a question mark, because Cutter was the fourth name that Edmund gave Benjamin and there were only 3 sat there, and they. So we assume he's out there somewhere, maybe, but we don't know. But we know he's not cool. He's not cool, so that's where he's going. And of course, Michael Chase is on the not cool section, because although he was taken down, he's not met final death yet, and until we've seen the ash, he's not going to go onto the actual board of the dead. But people have gone on the board of the dead, and for that, I'm going to pass you over to Phil.
Torpor, it's bad for your...
It does terrible things.
Well, actually, it's a sword to the neck.
Yeah.
He took a sword to the neck.
He's still half broken neck. I mean, it's a tough day.
Oh, my back. Right. So, of course, I think first one that kind of came along was Alisha to do Michael Chase's bodyguards ×2. Not 1, but 2 on the same one, so she's technically up to 3 there. And then was Jim with MC's probably innocent driver.
The probably innocent driver wasn't. Yeah, it had to be said.
We are still kind of shaking our heads in wonderment over that whole sequence.
I mean, probably we're on the fence because he was working for Michael Chase, but he probably was innocent. Like he was an innocent soul.
He's probably like Greg's brother.
Something like that.
Oh god. Yeah.
I think that's it.
I think that's it for the moment.
Yeah. So
that was a lot of killing in one session.
God.
If you ask.
A lot of murder.
Okay. So do we have any questions from chat, Callum?
Ooh, we have plenty.
Okay.
First question is by a Miss Unbalanced.
Oh yes. Miss Unbalanced.
How much?
Amis.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How much of the coterie sires were the players' ideas, and how much of them were Titus's evilness?
So should we go by turns?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, Moses' sire is entirely like the whole concept of who he is and what he does is entirely up to Titus, given the nature of Moses' embrace and the way go back and check Moses' embrace and you will see that there was no interaction with his sire. His embrace, Moses' embrace he was probably embraced out of spite. Well, most definitely. It's abundantly clear. So Moses never knew who his sire was. And I wanted, me, myself, Carlos, I wanted to keep it that way. So whomever he is, it would be entirely up to Titus. I left it in his capable hands.
I'm always scared to answer this question. I think, I guess, I don't know if Titus will agree with me here, but I would say that some of the broad strokes of the kind of sire that I wanted him to be were mine, but then Titus obviously went and ran with that in all kinds of interesting ways and made it very much his. So I think that's probably how it worked. But yeah, I had a definite concept for how I wanted Edmund to work in terms of how Benjamin was going to work and their relationship, but there was a lot of space around that, shall we say.
And well, for me, so of course, as I've said before, I came into this stream having absolutely no freaking clue about vampires. So I kind of come up with what I thought might have been the initial base, with certainly Jim as Kine being very much attracted to Alisha being very hell on high heels, because I thought, hey, that'll be fun, and just badass. Dangerous woman, and then of course Titus, who knows vampire, took that and ran with it. And again, as I've been learning the system in ways that I would never saw coming. Multiple ways I'd never saw coming.
Give it time.
How about Oliver? Because you would be able to did Rachel and you.
Yeah, Rachel gave me. She gave me a backstory and stuff for Oliver. I tweaked it a bit in terms more of his. I mean, his background is largely this, is pretty much identical actually, but his personality I had to tweak to try and make it fit with the ideas I had in mind. Not massively. In terms of how he views Katia as a kind of tool is pretty much the same. But I mean, without having the notes in front of me, I can't really remember where, like, the initial notes that were passed along and whether they've evolved a lot.
I just want to know who made him a dick. Was that Katia's?
Oh,
or was that you?
I mean, hang on. Is she in the chat? Then she did.
Oh, right.
Or her, not me. I want to
It's
make
her.
it.
It's all on Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't make any characters a dick. You know? There's all these guys.
Next question, Colin?
Next question is, any advice for first-time storytellers?
Ooh.
Is that for all of us?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that is so.
Okay.
Well, you start, I'll join in.
Okay, in my personal experience, the best advice that I can give someone is use more than your eyes. Like, I really mean it. If you find yourself thinking, how am I going to describe this scene, then imagine that you're describing the scene to someone who is blind. And that will allow you to start opening your own senses to your surroundings. So the way the air feels, or the smells, and walking to an old bar and feeling the old chipped paint on the wood as you push it. And those little details will add a lot to the narrative, because it's basically all about the story. So if you don't like a rule, just do without it. Make sure that you are not breaking the system, and make sure that everybody knows that you're doing without it, but just do without it. If you want to put something new, put it there. As long as the story is driven forwards in a way that is reasonable and logical, and you like it, and it's an exercise of everybody, just do it. Oh, and don't be a dick. Storytellers are meant to be just one more playing in the table, not the overlord that rules the lives of...
I feel like that's a targeted remark.
I suppose I would say start simple or small. You don't need to create every single... I mean, you may want to, but you don't need to create everything. Just have enough so that you know how to run the first session. Make sure you're comfortable, you know. And you don't have to have a session that does everything. Really, as long as it's fun for you and fun for your players, then that's a win. And I suppose the other thing I would say is, if you have players who've never run games before, I've got to be careful, I don't want to incense the internet, but sometimes the players can be quite, because they're emotionally connected to their characters, they can get quite reactionary to things that happen and how things are run and whether a certain rule is played a certain way and all that kind of stuff. But do remember that, generally speaking, as a storyteller, you are generally putting in a lot of your own time and effort and work to create something for their fun. So as long as you are giving them fun, you shouldn't have to take lots of horrible shit from them, you know. So start small, be nice to them, and make sure that they are also nice to you.
Okay, this gets handed to me. As I've never done that, I can't say what would make a ST, but I can say one thing that I have been doing, because I'm hopefully starting to run something privately myself. But one thing that I have been doing over the time that I've been playing is experiencing sort of as many different other storytellers, GMs, DMs as I can, and kind of seeing how different people do things. So I thoroughly enjoy a private game I have with Carlos. It's so much fun, and the spectaculars Peter, and of course the almighty Titus. Yes,
Titus the Great and Terrible.
Yes, the great fucking terrifying. So look to how others who have more experience than you portray it, and see what you like of that, and try to incorporate. Don't I wouldn't say what I'm trying to do is don't overdo it. Just follow as I do with most things with this is the kiss rule. They keep it simple, stupid. Mm-hmm. Keep it simple, kiss. Yeah. Just go have fun. Don't try not to over stress about it because these things need to be fun for everyone, both sides of the screen.
Titus wants to add.
I don't have a stake, but I have a pen.
We can throw the stake.
And the pen is mightier than the stake.
Yes, it is.
So, well, they've covered a lot of the ground. The big three, I'd say: communicate with your players, find out what kind of things they want to tell a story for. You might have the best story in the world, have everything done for it and everything else. And if you're running a story which is 90% combat and they want political drama, they're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to enjoy it because they're not going to be enjoying it, and it's going to fall apart. So speak to them first, find out what they want, and then branch out from there. And to be honest, if you're completely at odds with the kind of story you want, then it might be worth looking at a different type of game because everyone's there to enjoy it, including you. Which is another big thing you need to remember. You need to remember your own enjoyment as well. Point 2, make notes. Always make notes. Even really, really pathetically tiny things will come back. And if, advice that I'd like to give to myself is make notes in a sensible order rather than not all over the place, which is just how I work them out. However, the big thing is do not plan for everything.
Yes, absolutely.
No, because you will stress yourself out and you will waste half your game looking for your notes. Go in there with a rough idea of what things are going on, important things that could be happening, and then just run with it. Just improvise, enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that you don't know where the story's going, because that's the big appeal of role-playing games. You don't want to know A, B, C, D, and etc. You want to be able to be as surprised as much as the players.
Also, players are chaotic and unpredictable things, so no matter how much you prepare the story, they will always want to take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Maybe a couple of weak ones that we can take care of?
Cool. Actually, there's no weak ones. They're all big and heavy.
Okay.
Bring them on.
Cool. If you can change the result of one roll in the Chronicle or one decision you've made, what would it be and why?
I'm not starting on that one.
But Phil is.
Probably the role to eat the driver, right?
Yeah.
I think a role that I would have changed, to be honest. If I could have changed it to make it the best possible role, would have been a role to bring down micro-Jason, turning all the dice into 10s. So 2 epic criticals and a message critical. I would have happily taken that and removed his fucking head. So I would have very much liked to do that, because then I would be in such a lot better shape. Ow.
So I guess there's a couple of options here. I don't know if I'm allowed to have an NPC's role. I would quite like a certain role that...
I think they said any role.
I think there's a certain role that Edmund made a couple of sessions ago. I really wish he'd rolled differently.
Oh, yeah, yep.
I mean, I would give quite a lot for that to have been rolled differently. And otherwise, I guess a decision I made, I'm not sure if it would have ended up in a similar character dying, but maybe when Benjamin woke up in that cellar, when Abigail was in the box, if he hadn't had heightened senses up,
she'd still be alive.
She might still be alive, and if she died, she might have at least died peacefully, So maybe that I would change that decision. So yeah, that'd be for me, I think.
I think for me, it's not a dice roll; it's a decision, a character decision. I think Moses I wouldn't have gone to talk to Tyler Adams and warned them about the Sabbat. I would just have warned Alice. Because that way...
Do you mean Deacon Rhodes?
Deacon Rhodes. Because that way, she wouldn't had offered to investigate and she'd be safe. Potentially. But that's... if there was a role... Oh, probably my absolutely appalling persuasion roll with with Tyler Adams to get him to talk. Well, or with Jim to get him to back off. Because I believe that was the beginning of the end of many things. Everything was okay, and then Tyler Adams showed up, and then it was bad. Do we have time for one more, or are we already on the clock?
Tell me the next question, we'll see. If not, guys, if we don't get around to your questions, please send them to us so we can.
There are a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
The first one, how's the nap feel?
How's the nap? Oh, sorry.
Well, considering that I'm generally on 4 hours sleep next day for work, that has actually been quite useful. So, yeah, I'm comfortable because my back is starting to ache.
I'll try and keep you in it as long as I can.
Oh, I try and keep me in the nap as long as I can, keep me in the game as long as I can. That's the issue here.
There is another question from Mitch in the chat.
No, we're not answering
it.
Huh?
I'm going to ignore the question.
Oh no! Go on, ask the question.
No, I am the usurper. I'm
the usurper.
I'm sorry, Mitch. I'm sorry. We tried, but
I didn't. Trying to read your mind is the M&M one.
And I had the Galaxy one.
Have I replied your question?
Exactly. All right, we do have another question.
Prawn cocktail.
Do the PCs feel they're less or more human after their experience with the coterie and the bonds they appear to have made?
I always feel like that question might be answered in one of the next scenes. Because we've actually had a time where the coterie have been quite fractured, doing all kinds of very actiony things that we might
separate. Yeah.
And so how they are now and how they are when they see each other again could be quite. So if you feel this question has not been answered, please ask it again next session, and I won't give you this shitty answer. I'll give you a good one.
Maybe.
Promises. Any further very small ones?
No. Do we want to?
No.
No.
Mitch's question?
Yeah, go on. Do this question.
Okay, do it.
All right. The question is, what's the favourite flavour of crisp?
Crisp.
I've already answered mine.
That is a massively complicated and mega question. I don't think I've got time. Can I come back to that next week?
No, you've brought it on your... No, you have to make a split-second decision.
I mean, originally, my first love was Monster Munch, beef flavoured Monster Munch.
Prawn cocktail? No, not prawn cocktail. Good onion. Best.
Well, for crisp, I tend to go between two flavours depending on the taste of the day. So I get a kind of equal top, so I get salt and vinegar and prawn cocktail. Especially Pringles, because Pringles.
Put them together in a bag and crunch them up.
So crisps are not a massive thing for the Latino. Can I change that for tortilla chips and guacamole?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
So my favorite tortilla chip flavor is I make guacamole and I just eat it.
Krastor, you're disowned.
So yeah, guacamole flavored tortilla chip crisps.
Yes, I see your no equals Mitch, and I go, no. I stick on my answer.
So, we're going to go back into it.
Ooh, it is on.
I'll have my defecation reach this time.
Oh, yeah. For those that I said I was going to do something really weird with Jaffa cakes, I have. I've got Jaffa cake fudge. Yeah.
What is that?
Jaffa cake fudge.
Wow.
Okay, we need some.
Yeah, no, that's why I brought some.
Okay.
So, yeah, so. Anyway, let's jump straight back into things, guys. So.
Mind blown.
Yeah, I know, right? I need a rouse check and a rouse check.
Yeah.
I don't go hungry. That's.
I don't go hungry either.
So what are your current levels?
1.
Ooh.
Okay. So Jim, I need 3 rolls from you.
3 dice. 1 failure, 2 success.
What was your hunger?
My hunger was 0.
Zinger. Zinger? So what? How many did you just fail?
I only failed 1.
You failed 1. Okay. Now roll 1 more die.
Success.
when you awaken, the first thing you are aware of is that you have never experienced so much pain through your body before. Every single inch of you feels as though it is on fire. Bones are broken. Your neck is far worse. You don't want to look at it. I mean,
it was already bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was already bad. You're pretty certain that your head's lost a couple of inches from where it's dipped. Skin has been pulled off of your torso from where the car collided with it. I mean, these are just some things that you can immediately feel and recognize, and the moment you try to move, you can't. Without considerable effort. The stench of rotting meat is quite high here. And it's the second thing that comes to your attention. It's not the hunger, because the hunger has returned, but it's nowhere near as considerable as you thought it would be. And slowly, as your eyes turn around in the darkness, you feel the side of your jaw collide with what feels to be a metal barrier. And it's only then that you realize that part of your mouth is missing from a tusk, which is jutted out. And then as your eyes slowly begin to adjust to the area around you, you realize that what you're in is a trough.
A trough.
It's what you feed farm animals with.
Okay. I didn't know that word.
Is it definitely my own tusk?
Yeah, it's gone right through the side of your mouth.
How big is it?
Probably about this big. It's obvious. Very obvious.
I can't see.
Right, choose an attribute to be reduced from as a result.
Well,
Of your frenzy. Choose in 5 or I'll choose for you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think it's actually a decision anyway, technically, so...
I know, but I was trying to be nice. Yeah. Okay, we're going to say... I am going to lower your resolve because it is massively distracting having half your face punched out by a tusk. Okay. So, the smell continues to overwhelm as you realize that your body is bent at an odd angle because you've basically been dumped into a trough. And your leg is locked underneath a kind of T-bone bar which separates the two areas of the trough. And as you try and pull your foot free, you realize that you're getting shooting pains going up your leg from where your thigh muscle is snapped and your leg is broken. What do you want to do?
Let's try and sort of lever myself up so I can just look around, still holding the tusk, going, trying an angle of where the hell I am.
Okay.
And I will have healed the 1 point of aggravated, correct?
1 point, yeah.
1 down, 8 to go.
1 down, 8 to go.
Yes.
So you are listening. You can hear in the distance the distant and close sound of metal swinging, very gently. You can hear the sounds like dripping water, but irregularly dripping water. And the of wood just making contact with wood and opening irregularly, unpredictably. And then the metal boom of you move your foot through this trough, finally freeing yourself out of it. and there is a very, very, very potent and delicious taste on your lips. You will recover. No, actually, you would have dropped back down. Did you succeed on your awakening roll?
I think on the awakening.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, you'll still be on 1. Yeah, there is a very, very strong taste on your lips. There is. The moment you've kind of realised where you are, it's suddenly it's more distracting even than the pains going through your limbs.
I'm gonna just slowly get up and out and try and make a view of where the hell I am.
You climb out of the basin, with each movement making a resounding, echoing dong as you move, and then finally you stumble out onto muddy, rotten hay-strewn floor, and you have to try and steady yourself as you try and balance on a leg, the muscles of which are snapped, whilst not leaning on a leg which is broken. But no matter which way you're moving, you're in pain. And you slowly begin limping forward. And then as you glance around, you realize that the room that you're in is separated into various sties. And this rotten hay spreads all over the place.
Can I see any form of animals in there with me, or let me just
Can't hear any.
just keep my eyes open as I keep slowly moving there, slowly moving up towards, well, wherever.
Okay. So you begin making your way further down. And as you look into each of the sties, you can just see mounds of hay, which has been there far too long, and the stink of animal feces, which have not been picked up, not been moved. They hear the buzzing, uncomfortably loud buzzing of flies, just making slow orbital circles over these sties. Pitchforks, which are buried in different places. This looks like a barn that midway through tending of the animals was just vacated. But there's no remains for these animals. There's nothing there. Or at least that's what you believe until you get to the far end of this stunted kind of walkway. And as you look into the further extents, you can see dangling from the roofs just rows of skinned, drained animal carcasses. Almost like you've walked into an abattoir.
Hello?
You hear a ding, ding, ding from over on the far edge of the room.
Look over this, if you can see anything.
You can see movement, but you can't quite make make out who it is through the swinging of the gentle swinging of these carcasses. But you can hear a familiar tread of boots. Very familiar to you.
Slowly moving towards there.
Begin limping through this large, disgusting smelling room until you get to the final row. And it's there as you're walking past, you stop and you look around. And you see, suspended upside down, completely naked, a unconscious, torpid Michael Chase. With Alisha, who is leaning up against the wall, who has a butcher's knife that she's just poking the end with a finger. Good evening, Jim.
Ah. What the fuck happened?
You went crazy and killed a driver. Hit me in the face, so kudos for that.
I think I remember the driver.
Stop playing with yourself, Jim.
I can't remember the driver. I don't remember anything after that.
No, because you ended up getting fishboned.
And then I can't wait for him poked. Michael Jason's just look.
He is freezing cold.
Huh. You wanted me here for this?
I don't normally have this much patience. Do you honestly think I would have just left him like this? I mean, he's not my type. I'm not admiring the view, Jim. Well, I thought that we might have a little bit of a family activity. We haven't seen each other in a while. You know, casual torture and things like that, Jim. Well, I'm lying. There's nothing casual about this.
I'm curious about one thing. I know our blood is more potent. I wonder how potent his might taste.
You want a drink from him? You
I'm
kinky fuck. She moves over towards him and then just pushes him as he starts swaying. And she seems amused by him just swaying without response. I wouldn't advise it. I mean, I'm just here to make sure the fucker dies. You know, finally, properly.
Word.
But I mean, if you want to vent your frustrations, feel free. But the last time you bit someone, you punched me in the nose, you're allowed one of those in your lifetime.
Sorry about that.
Stop playing it with it, Jim. It's annoying.
No, me too.
She marches over to you, puts the knife next to where the tusk is, and this thin bit of skin, which separates the edge of your mouth from the tusk, and just yanks it, cutting clean through it and creating a wider gap for your mouth.
Oh.
Better?
I can move much better. Thank you. Fuck. Oh.
You look like shit. And you're standing in an abattoir, and that's saying something, Jim.
You look as good as always, right?
I know.
Yeah. Better.
So, do you have anything you want to do? This is the one time offer I'm only making to you. I mean, it's not often you get an elder kind of strung up. I don't really want to leave this longer than I need to.
Yeah. Well, the only thing as I'm curious about is the taste, but if you're not advising it, then I'd probably better follow your lead, hadn't I?
I mean, to be honest, I've been waiting for this for a while, and I kind of wanted to draw it out, but I also think that that's unnecessary. I mean, it'd be fun. So fun. No, Alisha, restraint. I'm going to kill him, and I'm going to do it properly. So she goes over towards him and grabs him by the scruff of the hair, and then grabs him by the arm, and then gestures to the other side.
Move into...
So you grab him by the hair as well.
On the other side, yeah.
Grabs him by the upper arm. Make a wish, Jim. I need strength plus brawl.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Crit win? Messy crit?
Messy critical, 4, 5, 4, 7 successes.
Okay.
I could have used that really
That
last
is the best
session.
messy critical time.
Okay,
That's a good
between
time.
between a critical win and a messy critical,
Oh.
she makes eye contact with you in an almost affectionate way, and then begins pulling, and there's the sound of bones breaking, of flesh ripping. And then as her hand comes away, your fingers on his hair pull, but with such force that his arm is wrenched out of its socket. His head comes free, and as she pulls away from the head, she kind of just watches you like pull a limb entirely off him along with the head, and as she's kind of holding the head in the same hands as yours, she's kind of looking at you like, we were going for the head, Jim. You're not taking souvenirs.
Nah. This fucker.
You can let go now, Jim. Can't eat this one. And then she starts like cleaning him in a kind of... You look prettier now, Michael. And she drop kicks the head across the abattoir.
So long, you son of a bitch. Now that was the fun moment.
That was somewhat stress relieving, yes. So, now that you've committed a grievous sin against the Camarilla, what's your plans, Jim?
And continue to learn to get tougher to be able to take more, because that fucker almost took my head.
Well, I would offer you up some animals, but they've long since gone. This is one of the areas the Sabbat hit on their way out.
Oh.
There's a lot of people that seem to think it's haunted and won't come here.
Moses would like it.
No, not really. This is my hangout, not Moses's.
Your place, but Moses would love the fact to come here and be told it's haunted. His reaction is quite amusing.
Noted. For future reference. So, aside from gorging yourself, plans, Jim? You looked for me for so long, Jim. Have you got more to say?
Well, considering we encountered Wells, was that the boon that you had over Moses to clear out the wolves?
Yeah.
Lying fucker. How many of those fucking lupines are in London? Do you have any idea?
There's a shitload of lupines in London, Jim. Which ones are you on about? His particular pack or in general?
Just general number.
I have no fucking clue.
And his pack?
I don't know. I've only met a few of them, and normally that's in the case where I'm running away and they're snarling and yipping at my heels like really, really horny dogs. Aside from him, who's not snipping at my heels but is very much like a horny dog. Don't ever blood bond a werewolf. It's fucking stupid. I mean, funny, but...
Oh, you blood bonded him?
Not in... Well... It's a long story, Jim.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Not really. I mean, you think that having, like... a mortal obsessing on you is one thing. Try doing it when he can turn into a 12-foot tall fucking... clingy is an understatement.
It's not something I'd ever do, but...
Well, I wouldn't laugh too much. He's got his eyes on you.
Shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Is he planning on killing me, or what?
Among other things, probably, yeah. I mean, they're not fond of our kind, Jim.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the blonde bond, I probably would have been killed a while ago.
I suppose the prince is going to be calling every kindred land to be taking care of these Sabbat fuckers, so...
Yeah, I'd be surprised if that's not already happening.
I mean... Especially if there's more of those golems about, because that was fun, bringing that fucker down.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too overconfident
No.
there, Stretch. I mean...
No. I know.
You got this from a car.
Yeah. And the golem was both of us, so... I think that's what made it evil.
In the dark. Just saying.
I gotta learn to see in the dark.
You need to learn to do a lot of shit, Jim.
I got a lot to learn.
Like talking to your sister is another one.
Do you know how she's doing?
Not well. But wouldn't you be pissed?
How long would you advise I wait before?
I don't fucking know, Jim. I'm not her. And contrary to popular belief, not all women are the same.
No.
I mean, for a start, I would have gutted you if you'd done that to me. Again.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but this time I'd use like a rusty spoon or some shit just to make it longer. The point is, your sister's in a lot of danger. She knows more than she should. She doesn't know what we are, but she knows that something's not right. And I seem to recall the last time a member of your family got a bit too questiony. I was forced to take steps. I've got a level of restraint, believe it or not, Jim. Not everybody else in the city does. So sort your sister out, otherwise you're going to have another tombstone you need to visit. But give her space.
Oh.
I know that doesn't make much sense, but fuck it. Free advice never does.
And for learning more, would I be able to learn from you? Or would you?
Maybe. Make it worth my while and I'll teach you. I ain't doing it now, you look like shit.
I know, but
Moses' bike is out there. We need to find some way to stow his magnificence, and then we're heading back in to drop your ass off.
well, we don't want to just pull the rest of this fucker apart and just hide it on the rest of this?
Oh, he's going to degrade over time. He's already started to. But just in case we get some brave guy wandering in here, I'd rather not the police come looking for a headless corpse.
Yeah.
Plus the idea of cutting him up a little more does excite me a little.
Give me that knife.
Knife? Grow some balls, Jim. She goes and unties him. Meanwhile, you both come around, slowly awakening. And you are in relatively safe places. And it takes you a moment to readjust, it always does. But before too long, you both slowly gained control of your senses. Neither of you hungry? No. One of you hungry?
Two. No, I didn't go hungry.
No, I didn't go hungry either.
No, neither of you hungry. You feel the beast is still somewhat slumbering. Yours less so, but it's not in control of your actions. It's not prominent. And you're able to focus more on your senses around you as you slowly, fully awaken yourselves. So, Moses, what are you doing?
Call him.
Okay. Bzzzt.
Hello?
Until I wake him up.
It's
Effectively.
pretty quick.
Hello?
I mean,
Ben?
Yes.
Okay, where are you now?
I'm at my flat.
I try to figure out how far is his flat.
I don't know if you know where my flat is. I know Jim has been there, but I don't think you've been there.
I don't think you have.
No, I haven't. So, I'm just like trying to figure out meeting points. Like, I'm not in the crosshands.
Do you want to meet there, or do you want to meet somewhere else?
No point in meeting there. Katya is not there.
Right. Is she alright?
Yes, she's fine. She just left. Probably went to talk to Sabine last night. So
Well, maybe we should talk details over the when we meet. So where do you want to meet?
middle point. So wherever he is, I just because I don't know exactly where he is regarding.
What kind of location are you looking for?
Oh,
Out in the open? You plan to go to a club?
Actually, can we speak at your place?
Yes.
You know what? I think you've been to my place. My
Yes.
condo.
Yes, I
See you
have.
at my condo.
All right.
Because that one has security systems.
I'll make my way there now.
No.
No?
Make your way to the car park that is on this corner of that of such and such, and wait for me there.
Let me just make a note. So I'll make a note of whatever he said and say, all right, I'll make my way there now,
Okay.
and I'll diligently drive to the relevant place.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to the car park that is nearby my place, but I just want to make sure no one's following him.
Okay.
I am assuming someone might be following me.
Okay. Both of you wits plus awareness.
One.
You know? 4.
1.
Yeah.
I mean, you are very, very, very focused.
Yeah.
Moses, based on what you can see, you are not being observed by anyone that's not a police officer, and that's largely because they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're watching. They're watching everybody everywhere. Yeah.
And on the radio, you basically get the tail end of Ben. You get the tail end of a conversation that's basically happening on the news with people calling out the police, demanding results, demanding questions, criticizing them for their apparent lack of their failure to jump on the incidents as quickly as they have, and that seems to have been taken to heart by the fact that at least every other street you can see either a police car, an officer on horseback, an officer that's in couples moving up and down the street.
Horses.
They are all over the place.
Okay.
So you continue making your way towards this joint location. And then first Moses arrives, and then soon after you do.
And when I see him, it's probably I'm gonna be just standing against any normal shadow with obfuscate 1. And when I see him, I text him, "Cool, the coast is clear. Walk to mine," which is not that far.
So
And I just want to see if anyone follows him.
I'll find a place to park. Then I'll check my phone.
Yep.
And when I get a text, I'll get out of the car and I will have a little look around before I walk to his place, a bit like with Sabine, and then I'll go in.
Okay. You do a thorough look, both of you do, to try and make sure you're okay. And you do not see anyone immediately that strikes your interest. There are more police officers again that are spied, and it does get your attention then. At which point you both kind of go into that sense of try to look innocuous, or inconspicuous, and then immediately drawing more attention to yourself. But as they go on by, you begin making your way up towards your condo.
And once we're near, when he rings the bell, I'm gonna be like, if there's no one else in the street, I'm just gonna be behind him. So when he rings the bell, I go like, "Yes." It's okay, I'm here. And I open the door with a key. I needed that. Are you okay? You look like you've seen okay, have you seen a ghost?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen any ghosts. I've seen a lot of things, but I haven't seen any ghosts. But first, what happened? Oh, yes, right, yes.
Go into the house, turn on the security cameras and other stuff. Close the blinds. Peek on the blinds. Like, make it look as suspicious from the inside. Okay.
So they found you okay? I know they were looking for... What happened? I haven't seen you since the gallery.
Something happened in the gallery?
A lot happened in the gallery.
Well, I barely remember any of it. They did something. I was lost to the beast. They did something. It smelled like blood and anger.
Yes. They threw these bits of...
I don't know what was it.
I don't know exactly. I don't want to say, but it smelled of blood and and it did. It was an effort not to want to, even though I wasn't hungry, but I suddenly felt like I wanted to feed.
I couldn't control it.
But it was much worse than that. There were these things, and they were huge, and they had you're probably lucky you didn't see them. They were monstrous, and I only caught glimpses. And then everything just went dark, but so dark even I couldn't see. And there were people there trying to stake me, and there were strange vampires.
These big thingies, are they like the one that you saw in the Warrens?
No, that was different. This was like, I don't know how best to describe it. It was like somebody had taken bits of people and mashed them together to make a really big person. That's the best I could describe. It was awful. It was like a sort of Frankenstein's monster.
I'm literally imagining a 15-foot tall Herman monster.
I'll say,
bolts and everything.
But I suppose more flesh-coloured and more disgusting, and maybe more limbs. I only call it glimpse. It was awful. But it was a Sabbat. The Sabbat attacked the gallery.
Oh yeah. The thing is that they captured me.
Oh no.
They staked me and captured me.
Oh no. Oh, and Moses. They were horrible to you.
They did things. They did things to me, most to my body, which I have healed. No, I still have a little bit of superficial from the marks. They did things, but they also did things to my mind. I don't know how long they had me. According to Katya and Jim, it was probably a night or two.
Yes, that would make sense.
And then Katya, Jim, and Alisha found me. But it was very, very close to sunup, so we had to run. And then yesterday, it was a blur, and I'm trying to figure out where the other attacks. Apparently there were more.
There were 3, but I don't know the locations of them all. I heard the explosions when I was driving.
One was near Baker Street Station.
Yes, I know Baker Street Station.
You remember the entrance to Baker Street that we used to get rid of the Thimblets after we asked Goldilocks for permission to go in?
Yes, I remember that.
Boom. So apparently, I need to find out what happened to Goldilocks.
Yes.
But the other one is a shopping mall, shopping center, something like that.
But what about you? You said they did things to your mind.
It doesn't mean I believe you 100%, but when you said you had visions in the Warrens.
Yes.
And that they came unannounced.
Yes.
I think they did the same.
What, you saw something?
I saw Lucy.
You saw Lucy? Was she all right?
She was not there.
Oh, you saw her, but she wasn't actually there.
And I saw Alice, and I saw people from my past in the States. People that have it was impossible for them to be there.
Right.
And I saw things, and I felt like I wanted to call upon, rats or animals or something, someone to just give a message, but someone kept on killing them, and then every time I called the rats, they would kill them, and I wouldn't be able to send a message. And
well, I don't really understand exactly what that could have been like, but I do understand what it's like to feel powerless, and for people to see lots of things being killed around you, and there's really a lot of things that we need to talk about.
I saw Edmund in my visions.
You saw Edmund. What? Tell me. What did you see? This could be very important.
Oh yeah, I just saw him. It's like I just talked to him and asked him for help, and he was not there. Just as Lucy wasn't there, and just as no one was there. And I'm trying to get in touch with Lucy to make sure she's okay.
Yes. Yes.
Have you talked to Edmund? Is Edmund okay?
Well, I have talked to him, and that's a very difficult question to answer.
Is he okay?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Because he's the one person I would have hoped, had him not be a hallucination, could help me, because I know you trust him, and you think very highly of him.
I do, and I do, but you have to understand that he's been through some terrible things too, and he's going through a difficult time right now.
Do you think I can talk to him?
I don't know if you should. You could.
I mean.
Can I talk to you about some things first, and then maybe you decide if you want to do that?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So I was trying to contact you last night because, there's too much to say. I don't know where to begin. I'll start with a simple thing. He asked me to deliver a letter, and I went to deliver the letter.
When was this?
This was last night.
So what happened after the gallery exploded?
After the gallery, I escaped. His voice drew me to him. We talked. It was very disturbing. He said a lot of things I didn't fully understand, a lot of things that I worried about. I thought he was going to go away. He was very...
Whoa. Deep breath. Go on.
He was worried about the Sabbat having attacked the gallery. He said that they were going to come after him. He was very angry about what they'd done.
Why after him?
Because this is very difficult for me, Moses, because I always worry that I don't know what's the right thing to say and who's the right thing to tell, and I'm so confused. But essentially, he used to fight the Sabbat in the war, and
the information you give me, I can use and help Edmund, maybe.
He fought at Sabbat in a war, and he killed a lot of them, and one of them he had captured, and they and I think he thought the Sabbat had found out, and that's why they attacked the gallery.
He captured the Sabbat.
Yes.
Member. Okay.
Yes. And that's why they attacked the gallery, and that's why they were coming for him.
Oh, okay.
And he was getting ready to leave, and then...
Leave?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, escape.
He was going to go away for a while. He was preparing...
But they... The last Sabbat attack was during the Blitz.
Yes, that's when he fought them. That's when he captured this one. That's when he did all these things.
Yeah, but that means that... What did he do with the one he captured?
He held them prisoner, I think.
For like 60 years?
Yes, like 60 years. I think.
Wow.
But so the thing, there's lots and lots of other things to tell you, but the thing that he had, I don't know, an interest, an artistic interest in this one he captured, but knowing the Sabbat were coming, he took steps to get rid of them, and then
get rid of him. How?
Well, I think he. Well, I didn't see it because I was upstairs and he was downstairs, but I distinctly heard the sound of drinking, I suppose, and there was only, I mean, there was very little left when he was done. I mean, if I hadn't known,
He ate him.
Well, I think so. And there was just a pile of, a pile of powder. But then things got very.
So he just killed this Sabbat
Yes.
person.
Yes. Because he didn't want the Sabbat to get them, I think.
So this must have been like an important character.
I think, yes, very.
Maybe I can find information in my networks. Do you know the name of this character?
I don't know their name, but I do know some other names, and I was going to tell you. This is what I wanted to tell you because he gave me a letter and he told me I had to deliver it to these people, and it was very.
After he ate.
This is it was like a day out. So many things happened. I will come to them probably later, but this is the bit that I think you will want to know, and that is that when I went there. He told me to deliver this letter, he told me these names, he said I couldn't tell anyone the names.
Yeah.
And it was very strange because after he'd done all of this, he wasn't himself, Moses. He wasn't his normal, kind, wonderful self. He was different and he did terrible things. And he was terrifying and he couldn't remember anything. He couldn't even remember who I was. He was not himself, he needed help. But
are we talking about the same wonderful Edmund Sinclair?
But this is the thing. It is like when I'm talking to him, it's like I'm not talking. I don't know. I don't feel the same as I normally feel.
Losing in the gallery was too much, and he just.
I'm worried that
lost him?
I'm worried that this has been such a burden on him. The loss of the gallery and this pressure and him having to destroy something that was important to him. I think it might have all just got too much.
Well, I mean, if he had this guy prisoner for so long.
But when he sent me to deliver this letter, I recognised the kindred. I hadn't met them before, but I knew them. And I knew them because I'd seen them and I'd sketched them, and they were the ones in the photo. They were the ones from the Warrens. I know their names, and I know, and I was trying to contact you.
The Glock. Check that there are bullets in the chamber. Check the safety.
Oh, the Glock. I never gave you back the Glock.
No, not that Glock.
Different. There's a whole new Glock.
I have my own Glock. What are you talking about? I have an extra magazine, and both of them are super full. Okay.
So wait.
I'll have your note, mister.
I haven't finished the story because I was contacting you because I knew where they were going to be, and I wanted us to go and get them. But you had this other business on, and so I went to. I spoke to Sabine.
You lost them?
No, I spoke to Sabine, and she called the constable, and then we went there, but Edmund wasn't there. But their heads were there. The 3 heads of those Nosferatu were there. Edmund had destroyed them, and I'm very confused about everything because
they are the ones that killed Foggy.
Yes, those ones, those horrible.
Take me to Edmund, please. I need to tell. I have to thank him.
No,
I have to.
Yes. Oh, all right. But there's more. He. Oh, I don't know. There's something.
Even though he doesn't seem like himself.
No, but
he killed 3 Sabbat.
No, he killed 4.
And the previous one.
No. There was. So this is interesting because when he told me to find them, he said there were 4, but when I found them, there were only 3, and they talked about this one called. They were talking. They basically didn't. They didn't know where they were either, and they couldn't find them. They're not here, I don't think. But when I saw him last night, and we found these heads, and then we found Edmund, the constable, and then there was this other address. I'm sorry, there's so much to hold on to. There was this other address, and it was a bit strange, and the constable was being very scary and stern, and because I told her about this address, she wanted to go there, and Edmund was different again. He was being very polite to the constable, but I just. Sometimes, do you remember the werewolves? There was a point when the werewolves were chasing me across the rooftops and I was in my car, and I had this feeling, I knew where they were, and I had this horrible cold feeling, and it saved me. saved me. And when we went to see Edmund last night, and I've never had this before, never anything like it, I had that feeling. And even though he was being polite, and even though he was being, he killed these Sabbat, and I was relieved, I was good, he's killed them, that makes sense. I didn't feel relieved. And then we went to this other place, and there was this man, this other vampire, and he was suspended from the ceiling, and I wondered if he was the fourth one. But he wasn't. He had a different name. The one in their group was called... do I have a resistance to being able to say their names, by the way? Because he did tell me I couldn't tell anyone their names. No? I'll say he was called Cutter, the fourth one.
Okay, Cutter.
But this one was called Alexander. And he was supposedly someone very important in the Sabbat in London. And Edmund had killed him as well. Well, I don't know about killed, but suspended him from the roof by chains.
Like anyway. Cutter what? Alexander what? Do they have like surnames?
Did they give me Alexander's second name? I don't think they did they?
I'm actually fishing to see if I hear the name Vehement coming from him.
Yeah. I'll say, he didn't say Alexander's surname, but he said that he was important. He might even have said something about his clan. I can't remember very well. It was all I was. To be honest, I was in a bit of a state.
Well, there are. How much have you learned about those Sabbat clans? Because there are a couple clans that are specific to the Sabbat.
Right.
So before you launch into that, I'm just going to cut away.
Yeah.
I'll be right back into it. So you've managed to dissect the remains with relative speed. There's no delicacy in what you two are doing in between yourselves. Are you using your claws?
No, not usually.
Alisha is, quite happily, and just starts cleaving off parts of his body into very small pieces, but because he doesn't believe, there's no mess, there's just chunks. And then once they're done, she takes you out towards the field to one of the old, where the animals were laid up, where there's different old style fencing which has long since fallen apart, goes in to a pit which is already dug and just starts chucking pieces in. And even as she's throwing it, the skin's falling away, bits of the muscle is eroding. It's already falling apart by the time you're getting it out. And as she chucks the last in, she picks up the head, which is more skeletal now than before, and just tosses it in. Better get digging, Jim.
Alright. I shovel the dirt over, covering it.
It takes you a little while to fill it back in. When you start getting it level, there's a part of you that tries to make it exactly level, and then you kind of realise that nowhere is level here, and you just kind of like, yeah, fuck it, just leave it as it is. And by the time you've managed to finish this off and put the spade aside, Alicia's already on top of the bike without a helmet, and she's already gunning the engine waiting for you.
I can move over. You wanna ride this one, or you want me to drive it?
Oh, Jim. And she starts driving.
On the back.
She starts heading away. She is clear almost immediately that you're outside of London. Which immediately, based upon the lessons that she's taught you before, makes you feel good and at the same time bricking yourself. As you are making your way back towards London, you can see the lights beginning to pick up, the streets starting to become more forced, people are commuting in and out, and mainly in towards, out of London after working. And as you are making your way further and further into London, she starts weaving in and out of traffic, making a good speed, in a kind of speed that would make Benjamin kind of, wag a finger, heading off towards the centre of London. And before too long, she is pulling up outside of the Crossed Hands. You are in agony. I mean, this has not been a gentle ride, and she has no interest in trying to cushion the blows for you. She's been going all over the place as quickly as she can. Seems to be making use of Moses' bike quite generously while she has access to it.
Let me guess. With an empty tank, she will not feel it, right?
That's assuming that you get the bike back. But yeah, sure. And as she drops you off, So,
How did you actually meet Moses in the beginning?
how did I meet him?
Yeah.
Ask him, Jim.
I will.
Guns the engine and takes off.
Hey, that's my bike.
I'm gonna put out my phone and see if there's any messages from anyone.
No messages.
Well, there will be a message from me from last night.
Oh, yeah,
which
from
said,
last night.
call me as soon as you can, or something like that.
I'm gonna sort of kind of slip into the grasslands, and just try and slip upstairs
Okay.
before calling him.
Yeah, sure. You managed to get upstairs to your room.
And then call him.
Bzzzt.
Do I say it's Jim?
Yeah.
It's Jim. Hello.
Hey, you alright?
Well, I'm intact. It's been a bit of a time.
Yeah.
What are you all right?
I'm in a lot of pain. I'll say that.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Do you need help?
Over the next little while, yeah, probably. You need me there at all?
Let me. Did you say you're at home?
Yeah, that's where I am at the moment.
All right. Well, I'll come over and I'll come when I can. I'll give you a call, and I'm just sorting something out now, and then I'll be there. I'm assuming it's not urgent that I come, as in you're not in dire need in this moment, or are you?
Well, might not be a good idea to leave me alone here for too long. I'll call the others. See what I can see if they're.
All right. Well, look, if you need me, say, but I will try and be there soon.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Bye. He sounds. What? Why? What was going on? You were waving your hands a bit, and I wasn't sure what, so I didn't say anything. Is everything all right?
He hasn't fixed my door.
Oh. Yes. Well, yes. Well, I think he is intending to fix your door. I know that he's intending to do that, and he should, because obviously that's important.
I'm gonna try and call Katia.
Okay. Bzzzt. Bzzzt.
Alright. And then number I have for Moses.
Bzzzt.
He doesn't have a number. The number he has probably is disconnected.
No number.
Like, actually, it's gonna hear like the doo-doo-doo or whatever, disconnected number, because this is the phone I had when the Sabbat took me.
The number you have dialed has not been recognized.
No one.
Please check and try again.
Fucking hell. Why do I bother these fuckers anymore? I'm gonna just head up to the roof and just. No,
It's been a while since you brooded.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to scream about.
Some old style game brooding.
As well as on the way up, I'm going to see if I can grab a file from one of Mr. Muffley's from Mr. Muffley's tool collection. See if she's got one of those.
A file?
A file, yes.
You gonna go and
Like an
have a
iron.
look in her stuff?
Like a nail file.
If she's awake, if she's up and about, then no.
She's not.
So, I'll have a look
Or
around.
behind the desk.
Yeah. Let me grab a file.
Sure.
Instant stains. You know.
I'll have a look behind the desk first. See if I can find just.
Her tool belt is not behind the desk. There's a cluster of folded newspapers.
Yeah, so. No, sorry.
They're old. They date back years.
Yeah.
There's loads of them.
Yeah. See if there's the ledger on the.
Yeah, the ledger's still there.
Check the ledger. See if there's any change to that.
There's been no one checking in since the most recent residents.
Yeah. Have the people there checked out?
No. You get the feeling that their being there is kind of one of the only incomes this place has at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. See if I can find any little hand files. If I was to have thought.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing behind the desk. If you wanted to go and get it, you probably have to go into a room.
Yeah, which is there at the moment, so yeah. I'll say explain to that.
Okay.
I'm too fucked up.
Okay. Yeah, because it'd be somewhat of a embarrassing thing if you got your ass kicked by, Miss Imrovsky and a knife, and that's what ended your existence.
Yeah. No, I will go to him. I will take out the old motor tool and put the little file on that and just go. Well, it's gonna be a while. So go out the roof, brooding, and start using that to just
File down the tusk.
start. Yeah. I haven't been cleaning teeth for fucking years.
It hurts. I mean, it is the equivalent of taking a file to your actual teeth and wearing them down to the nerve. Yeah, which is.
It's just
This is just pain among pain among pain at this point.
I'm just spending a lot of time just firing. It's like it's not going to take. It's going to take a while. But
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, your conversation goes.
So, I was lost. So basically,
Yes.
there is the 3 Nosferatus that killed Foggy,
Yes.
and now they're dead.
Yes.
And Edmund killed them.
Yes.
And he also has captured another body of the Sabbat.
As someone who's very important in London, with this.
Could it be someone that he captured a while ago, together with the other important
it was
one?
someone he's just captured. He's just got them. He said he was saying that he was taking revenge for the gallery, and it's very strange because it should.
You were saying something about the clan. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, I might have heard his. I think they might have mentioned a clan or something.
There are
Is that
2
right,
clans.
FT?
For who?
For Alexander.
No.
Okay, I'll say no. It's all to be honest, I was a bit in shock when they were talking.
Okay. There are 2 clans that are not. Like, you know the 7 clans of the Camarilla, right?
Yes. Edmund taught me about those.
There are more clans. I don't know how many more. Don't ask me. I'm like.
All right.
I just know that there are at least 2.
Yes.
That are like associated with the Sabbat.
Yes.
And that's probably pretty much all I know about the Sabbat. The existence of 2 extra clans at the very least.
Right.
One is called La Sombra,
Right.
which means the shadow,
Right.
and that's all I know. I know. Well, it's in Spanish, but it could have been like an olden times kind of surname.
Right.
So.
I don't know. I don't know.
Ooh, epic points.
I know, right? Be very careful with your list.
Okay.
Continue your conversation. Right.
To the one I have right now.
Yes.
The usual suspects. So Plucky Jake, if he wants to get in touch with me,
Yep.
of course. Katya.
Yep.
Sexy Pearl.
Yep.
And I would probably send. Oh, and since Alice is not around, I would probably send a message to Sebastian Coley.
Okay. Anyone else?
No.
Are you sure?
No, because it could have been the constable, but I grabbed the burner after I talked to her, so there was no way for me to.
Okay.
Also, I don't even know if the constable has a phone number,
Okay.
so I'm gonna go to the church after my conversation with him, but that's because I need to pray.
Yes, I don't remember exactly what they said, but all I do definitely remember was that he was one of the leaders of the Spat in London.
Okay, leaders. The other clan is a clan called Shemisk, Simise, Shemisi, Chichus. I don't know. It's like in Romanian or in Russia. I don't even know which language.
I don't know which clan he was.
They refer to them as fiends.
No,
they're like
they
devil.
didn't say the words fiend when they were talking about him.
No, I mean like they are literally like.
But it was someone that
like gory, ugly. Like I have heard like Like, they
Right.
look like demons.
I can tell you this. The one that was in the basement was unlike anything I'd ever seen. They were, I mean...
And my heart falls. Because if it's a Shermisk... Okay.
Whereas the one on the ceiling just looked like someone who had, I suppose, had a... Well, he just looked like, I suppose, a one of us, except that he had one eye. But apart from that, he was...
What do you mean? Like
well...
pirate?
Yes, but no eye patch, I don't think. Was he naked or was he stripped? No, he was stripped from the waist, wasn't he? He was stripped from the waist. He'd been attached to the ceiling. It was by hook. I mean, it was. Does that? I don't understand why.
Focus.
Right.
Eye patch.
No. He just had a missing eye. He had very short, like shaved short hair and like a short mohawk, I think. He was definitely a kindred. I'm sure of that. But I couldn't tell you any more. But Jacqueline. But Edmund was talking to Jacqueline like she would recognise him.
I need your help.
All right.
I need you to take me right now to the church. First, I need to pray, and second, I need to talk to the constable.
All right. Look, there's something else. When the constable had gone, we can go on the car. We can talk on the way.
Okay.
Let me just let. So
I grab my guitar case. The guitar case, and grab the gun. My brass knuckles.
I'll say what.
2 packs of cigarettes and a laptop.
I'll text Jim to say. Will be at least an hour. If.
Yep.
Something like if you need me, text now.
What do you need text now?
Yeah, because he said to Benjamin, I shouldn't be left on my own. I thought, well, if that means he's going to like lose control or things are getting too much.
Oh yeah, he might be in the typical default. I am a very hungry, dangerous Jim.
Yeah.
Be as quick as you can.
Okay. So you get in the car with Moses. I guess. Oh.
It's okay. I'll get it.
This message will explode in 5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Okay. While you're getting ready,
Yes, they do.
and your phone starts buzzing, the moment you pick it up, the landline next to you begins buzzing. Bzzzt,
There's a text message in front of you.
loudly.
Might pick up the landline. Hello?
Is Moses there?
No, Moses is not here at the moment. May I
I need to speak to Moses. Can I have Moses, please?
I can get him. I need to know who's.
It's Lucy. Can I speak to Moses, please?
I'm gonna text. Text Ben say if you have a way to contact Moses, Lucy's calling. I've just sent a message. I can get him to you as soon as I can.
How long will he be?
I don't know. I'll get him to you as fast as possible.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Alice is at my window.
Alright.
I tried to say hello, but she's not talking to me and she's scaring me.
Yeah. I'll.
Line goes off.
Cool to just pick up the phone straight to.
So I'm assuming that I got the. Actually, I don't know what I'm assuming anything actually.
I just so it said that first in the text, but as soon as that had his phone call straight to.
To me.
Do you? Yeah.
Do I get the? So are we like on the way down to the car?
Yeah.
So I'll say, hello, are you alright?
You remember the little girl that we rescued?
What, Lucy?
Yeah, if you have any contact with her, she is in danger. Go.
She's in danger?
She's in danger.
I
Go
can...
now.
Where is she?
I don't know. Apparently at her place. And
She's at her place.
Alice is there at a window, terrifying.
Right. I can get Moses. I've seen Moses. I can get Moses. He's here. I'll tell him.
Tell him to give me his fucking number.
Yes. All right. I'll do that. We're going now. Are you coming?
I'm in no condition to fight.
All right. I'll be.
I'm already at the car, like practically going at the door.
I'll unlock the car.
Drive now. And if I see you restrain or stop at a red light, I'm fucking gonna kill you myself.
This feels horribly familiar. I'm in the car. Some horrible fucking vampire being nasty and scary.
Okay, I was just gonna go.
And I am.
All I can do is fire again.
And this is at the moment at which I get my Glock out, charge a round on it, and I say, I mean it. Drive as unsensibly as possible, and I start fidgeting with something very large inside my...
I will say, as I'm pulling out, I'll say, we aren't going to be able to help Lucy if we get arrested.
Make it there now.
So I will drive swiftly, but I mean, unless he...
No, it's like, if the police starts chasing us, outrun them.
This sounds like a social combat role, boys.
Yes.
Social combat! Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, okay, I'll do a round of social combat. And then
That looked reluctant.
and then I'll give in after my willpower damage.
You never know.
So what's the things?
For you, it's going to be composure plus resolve.
Not painting.
No.
Oh,
Not painting.
And you, it's going to be charisma plus
resolve.
intimidation.
Oh, okay. I'll take it. Five successes.
Okay, forget it.
I mean,
Holy shit.
you.
I got one. One success. One miserable success in 3 dice.
There's a lot gone wrong recently, and you know there are a fuck ton of police around. You are not. You're not ready to have another breach, another issue. Hey. Sorry, Moth. I'm not just saying hello to my arm. So you have been prodded, pushed, and a whole host of other things by the Kindred recently, and choked. Whether you like that or not is not the point. The whole point is, every time you're in this car, someone is telling you to do something. And there's a part of you that's actually quite sick of it. But the main thing is, there are police around, and it doesn't matter whether he tries to skewer you with like a Glock or something. There's too many police. You can't risk driving stupidly.
Okay, so I will continue driving as I was, and I'll just say, I'm going to help you, Moses. I know that you are anxious to get there quickly, but there are too many police. And
Just get us there.
yes. So I assume you're directing me
Oh yeah.
to wherever it
It's
is.
the same. It's a new house. Yes, you moved. I'm directing him to Lucy's new address.
Okay. So, the drive is massively uncomfortable. More so than any drive you've had recently. And you're starting to regret getting in this car every single time. However, fortune seems to be on your side in that you are not meeting any red lights. There is traffic. There's quite a fair bit of traffic. But they always seem to be moving in a direction away from where you need to turn. And before too long, although for Moses' taste it's probably far too long, you end up pulling up in front of the house where Lucy and Sarah have now taken up residence. Not Sarah, Susan. Have now taken up residence. The lights are off. and there is a car in the parking space.
Do I recognize the car?
Susan's car.
Okay. Say, wait right here, I'll be right back.
Alright.
I get out, Glock, and the extra pistols in my pockets. Brass knuckles. Like I take off my glove on the brass knuckles. And I unseen passage my way through. Without gun hungry. So I'm still at hunger 2.
That was the crossed hands, by the way. Random question.
Okay.
So, you don't go hungry, and you take your arsenal with you. More weapons than you ever had to carry before. What are you doing?
Actually, I have also the guitar case behind me, like in my back.
Okay.
I'm not leaving it in Benjamin's car with Benjamin. It's a sensitive instrument.
Are you going quietly?
Yeah, of course. I am
Okay.
going quietly because
Then I will need Dex plus Stealth -1, because you are carrying a lot of really awkward things.
But I'm gonna be breaking in.
Yes, so you still get your +1. Well, where are you going to? Are you going to try going through the front door, or are you...
No, I'm gonna go to Lucy's room.
Oh, okay. So you need to go around the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to be watching and listening, and I'm going to use heightened senses because, you know, this sounded like it was urgent or bad. I'm listening out for sounds of distress, things breaking, that kind of thing.
4 successes.
Okay. You begin making your way around to the side of the house, the area that you know leads up towards Lucy's room. You were doing what, sorry?
I'm going to use my heightened senses to listen and watch.
Okay, wits plus awareness, plus auspex.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4. You can hear movement inside the house.
Like frantic movement or
No,
just...
very slow footsteps and what sounds like breathing that's intentionally being held in.
I may not have enough successes for this, but do I think it might be a child rather than an adult?
You don't have enough successes.
Okay. Do I know roughly where in the house it's coming from?
Upstairs.
Can I still see Moses? Because
No.
simply when he...
Switch it off.
Oh, okay, fine.
So you continue around the side of the house, and just as you are coming to the point where you are about to go up to Lucy's, you look through the window into the kitchen, and you can see that the back door has been kicked in.
I go through that route.
Okay, so you go inside, and there are bits and pieces littered off the table. There is no lights on. The floor is stained with mud, as though something's been dragged. There is...
Some thin or some one?
It's hard for you to tell in the dark. The landline phone is hanging off the wall. And Lucy's bear is next to the phone. And you can hear from upstairs.
Immediately go upstairs.
Okay.
Sturdy plus stealth again?
If you're going quietly.
Yeah, of course.
-1.
That is 3 successes.
So you begin making your way up the stairs very quietly. And as you turn onto the banister, you step up and turn and look. And at the far end where there's the bathroom, there's Susan standing there with a bat. And as she looks at you, and you turn and look at her, she stops.
Unseen presence.
Oh, so okay. All right. In which case, she's just looking around and waiting. She can't see anything, but she's just there with a bat. And then as you are moving up, you hear grrr from your left, and as you turn and look, Alice is there. Caked in rags. Visible wounds all over her body. Her fangs are out. She is looking at Susan and just staring at her. Very, very still. and then the moment that Susan draws in a breath, she darts and just barrels forwards.
I'm in the middle of it.
Right. I need you to do a blocking roll then.
Yeah. Of course, I'm gonna leave. Come out from the beauty of whatchamacallit?
Invisibility?
Invisibility, thank you. Do I recover any willpower for meeting my ambition?
No, not yet.
No!
Because the meeting your ambition suggests like you've achieved something that you feel good about. This is not really something that you want to feel good. It's not like, oh shit, she's gonna die, but hey!
Hey! Yeah.
I'm just trying to find the rules for blocking. Oh, hang on.
It just applies a negative modifier to their... So his successes will count against her roll. She has to beat his successes before she can apply them to...
So it'll be 3 successes.
Whatever.
3 successes. Okay.
Because I only have... I assumed that was a strength plus roll?
For her?
For me?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I get any bonuses for being invisible?
Not when she's in frenzy, no. She's just making a beeline.
Okay, cool.
She's not going to attempt to weave around you. That's not what she's doing. She's just full on bolting.
Yeah, but I mean, she's not seeing me, and then all of a sudden it might show up when I grab her.
I'll let you roll one more.
Okay. 3 successes only.
Okay. As you throw yourself in front of her and materialize, she is barreling straight forward, her jaw extending as she's reaching for Susan. And as Susan backpedals and strikes the door, there is a yelp from within the bathroom that echoes, making it damn clear who's on the other side of that door. And as Susan stumbles and the baseball bat or the cricket bat tumbles to the ground, it is a cricket bat, don't worry. As it tumbles to the ground, her eyes are still locked on Susan as you materialize in front of her, and you throw your hands around her to try and stop her, and her hand comes around and clips you on the side of the face. You both tumble to the ground, and you will both...
Can I drag her down the stairs with me? That's all I want.
Okay, so this isn't a two-way, no?
Sorry?
Is this a two-way or a non-two-way?
Well, it depends. Is she attacking me? I let her. Is she attacking Susan? It's a 2-way.
Okay, right, yeah, she's attacking Susan.
Oh yeah, it's a 2-way.
So, I will let you take the damage and not deal any on her if you want to drag her down the stairs.
Yes, that's what I want.
Okay, so you will take...
It's like literally, she clubs me and I just hold on to her with potence and just...
Remind me, is potence automatic damage?
Only if she's roused it.
If you rouse for prowess, you add your potence rating.
Only if she's roused, cool. Yeah, in which case, you will take 1 point of superficial, half rounded up, as she strikes you along the side of the head. But from the sheer impact and your claws latching hold of the rags, she loses balance and just tumbles, and both of you go striking, falling down the stairs. There's screams and shouts from up on the landing as Susan yelps and just watches as you full bodily go tumbling down the stairs. You can hear this. Like,
yeah, I think probably at this point I'm going to drive away. No, I'm kidding. At this point I'm going to...
Yeah, do it, drive away.
I need a stamina plus athletics roll from you.
At this point I'm going to go rushing towards the house.
Okay.
I will probably be using Silence of Death so that I'm not, alerting my approach to whoever's in there, but I'm going to charge in.
Okay.
I'm trying to reason with her, like, stop. Alice, no, please.
So,
something, anything.
I don't think that really works in front.
No, actually, I'm not gonna start screaming or whatever.
So,
but it's gonna be like evident. It's like.
Okay, so.
Well, I will scream, stop, like, stop.
How many successes did you get?
2.
2. Okay. You are tumbling down the stairs, but you manage to land in such a way where, aside from the unpleasant sensation of hard wooden corners just jamming into your muscles as you're going down, you don't land in any particular way which is impacting. But as you hit the bottom of the stairs and you go sprawling, your hold on her releases and she skids over you. and then immediately her gaze, which was locked on Susan, even as she went down the stairs, just locks on you, and she begins crawling towards you. Her legs, which now you notice, are at an angle in a way that suggests that they are in the process of healing, or were in the process of healing, but had at one point been completely detached.
Yeah.
And she's crawling towards you, and her fangs are extended.
Can I... She is clearly in a frenzy.
Yes.
It seems like a hunger frenzy. Seems.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a fury frenzy. Either way, can I make myself a dummy or potential useful target?
She's got you've got her full attention.
Okay, because I want to start backpedaling away from the stairs so she comes towards me.
Mm. At the moment, you're between the stairs and her.
Brilliant.
Okay.
I try to potence jump towards her.
Okay.
Like to tackle her further away, then begin a chase.
Okay. Meanwhile,
I don't care if any bystander dies. It's not Susan, it's not Lucy.
Okay.
Fuck the rest.
Thanks, buddy.
is-
Kind. I meant kind.
No, too late. You can't do that
Kindred
back.
people are
That's
my
because you threatened to drive away. So,
karma.
as you begin barreling towards the door, you can hear the echoing thuds of bodies hitting the ground, and then a deep bestial snarl which sends shivers up your spine.
Oh dear.
And then Moses' voice saying to someone quite desperately and with no small measure of
Panic.
no, stop. And then there's another guttural snarl. What are you doing?
Well, I at least want to get close enough that I can see what is happening to Moses, because Benjamin does not really want to get involved in whatever horror this is, but equally he needs to know, he needs to see. Am I vaguely aware of people like the other humans in the house as well?
Yeah, you can hear him breathing upstairs.
Yeah. So is the front door open or shut?
Front door's not open. Front door's shut.
And are the sounds of fighting coming from the back or the front, or?
Directly upstairs, close to where the front door is. It's like it's on the other side of the front door.
I'm always smashing in Lucy's front door. I mean, unless I have reason to think that well, I guess Benjamin will very quickly, as he's approaching the door, be looking to see if there are any like open windows or other ways into the house.
Okay.
Before he attempts something foolish.
So you can see you can see from where you are the area where Moses went. You can hear the sound of a door banging.
That's where I'll go.
Yeah. So you begin making your way barreling around into the kitchen,
Yeah.
and you can see as you look through the opening where the dangling phone is on the opposite side, what looks to be a living room space, and the sprawled limbs of someone that just moves out of sight on all fours as you come around the corner.
I'm assuming that's as much as I can.
That's about as much as you can do. You're gonna jump.
Yeah, I'm gonna soaring leap tackle her towards the front door.
Okay, so towards the front door.
Yeah, away from the stairs. I'm literally placing myself closer to her. So if I was already the target of her fury, rage, frenzy, whatever.
Roll roll wits plus
This does not bode well.
occult.
That's wits.
Yeah.
There's one that's can't, but it's looking like one success.
One success. Okay. Sure. Okay, so you're leaping towards the door.
Yeah, somewhat. Like
You go soaring over her.
yeah, what I want to make it look like I'm getting away from her. I want to prompt a chase, a hunt.
Okay. I'll allow you one more roll. Wits plus insight. because all you're doing is doing an automatic feat as part of your leaping.
That turns out to be, I would say 3.
Yeah.
Three successes.
Okay. The only reason you have her attention is because you're between her and food. How a hunger frenzy works is you are in no way as appetizing as someone that she can smell is full of blood. The moment you remove yourself, she's going up that stairs.
Nice.
Because she is driven on pure instinct and a desire for blood. You don't smell like blood because...
I rouse.
To do...
Let blood out of...
Are you going to...
Or like blush of life, do you mean?
Effectively. Or are you going to cut and bleed?
I have cuts that have not healed.
Okay. So you're going to rouse to spend blood out of them.
I want her to smell the sweet, sweet smell of vampire blood.
Okay. Make your rouse check.
Shit, this is gonna hurt. Oh. Without going hungry.
Are you leaping towards the door?
I am somewhat, like, I am leaping in her general direction because all the thing is I want to get closer to her. So I am the focus of her attention, and I'm gonna be like up close and personal while providing her with the sweet smell of blood. So effectively, I did some sort of blush of health, which is something Moses never does, but that immediately makes me bleed out of a couple of cuts that I have.
Okay. So, as you throw yourself, you hear the sound of wood creaking, and then the sound of wood being struck heavily as someone lands upon it. And you can also hear a low guttural hiss, resulting in between those two punctuations of sound. And as you are moving slightly around so you can get a better look, you see Moses sailing over the head of a prone and disfigured Alice. And you can only tell it's Alice by the multiple kind of studs she has in her ears from the time that you've met her. Because you have met her, haven't you?
Yes, I think I have.
Yeah, it's in court.
And as she leaps over, he leaps over, she immediately turns and reaches for him as he sails over, which will be resolved in a second. Do you want to do anything?
So my understanding is there are two people in some state of panic upstairs. Moses is leaping away, and Alice, who seems in a mess, is seeming to be kind of going after him. So
I'm fine.
I think Benjamin is going to remember some of the things that Jim has taught him all that time ago. And because as far as I can see, Moses is kind of about to be grabbed by Alice.
Yeah, she's
looking
looking for him.
And it looks like she's just going to go for it. She looks like she's lost it.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm
She
going
looks
to...
very Jim-like at the moment.
Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is try... Jim's taught me a few ways to kind of restrain people or hold people. So I think what Benjamin's going to try and do is restrain her.
Okay.
To get some control on the...
Grapple.
Okay.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, she's probably, you know...
This is going to be two-way.
She's probably a brilliant with potions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if she is gripped by hunger frenzy,
She's not going to have potency.
Oh,
She has no
okay,
blood
yeah.
in her system.
And she's probably
Especially
impaired, right? And
she's probably at
not
hunger
crippling
5.
injuries, so...
At hunger 5, you cannot activate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is buggered to fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
That's good. That's a saving race.
Okay. So, strength plus brawl?
Ooh, hang on.
Ooh. Look at you rolling your swanky roll.
Yeah, get it in.
Roll dice.
2.
Tired. So the moment you rush in, you grab hold of her and yank her back just as she's about to grasp hold of his leg. And as you pull her away, she spins and jams her claws across your face. Not full claws, but nails, and rakes. And you feel the flesh come away as she rakes across. There's superficial 1, back up to 1, and she'll take the same.
But she doesn't take damage from being grappled. It
No.
just means she can't act.
Okay. In
So
which case,
if-
is she still grappled?
She will be until she breaks the grapple.
Okay. In which case, then yeah. So you just take the damage, and she's grappled now.
Okay.
So even as your hands grip her and hold her in place, that hand rakes across yours. And now the moment that you've turned her around, and she started raking at you, her eyes suddenly go towards the stairs and she starts trying to cat claw past you to get towards them.
My turn.
Your turn.
I basically force feed the blood on her. I just jump to her, like she's on the floor, like.
Well, I've got her in a hold, I would assume.
Yeah, I basically grab her hair, try to yank her head back, and put my open wound into her face. Like I smear my blood in her face. Like, drink from this! Drink from this!
The moment your flesh comes close, her fangs snap shut on it, and you feel the ecstasy, but punctuated by severe pain, as her hands, which were clawing, suddenly grasp you by the arm and yank you down. And in a tangle of limbs, you are there trying to restrain her as she is biting.
Can I say to Benjamin, get Lucy out?
Cool. So
that's all I want to say.
Without looking at the book, I'm going to make an on-the-wing roll here.
I can spend a point of willpower if need be.
You'll need to make a willpower roll to see if you can break the contact, if that's your aim.
I don't want to, like, I just want to tell him to get Lucy.
Okay, so how much are you willing to let her take before you try to stop him?
As much as it takes for her to end her frenzy.
Okay.
Oh no.
So probably enough to drop her to hunger 1, which will put me at hunger 5.
Yes. You feel the ecstasy building and building.
I let her drain away.
You watch as she gorges, and Moses does nothing to stop her. And as you untangle yourself?
Yeah.
You untangle yourself and step away. His body is spasming by the sheer force of how thoroughly she is draining him. And her fingers have punctured through the flesh of his arm from the sheer force of holding him in place. And you start feeling your beast awakening, first slow, then immediate, and then it's all you can hear. And you cannot, although you are sure, in a small part of you in some way you felt this hungry before, it feels like you never have. And only when you start feeling this does Alice's jaw unhinge away from you, and she falls back, slumped on the ground, her eyes wide, breathing erratically, which she doesn't do. I need...
I've started disentangling myself to go up.
Because what I want to do is walk towards Alice, grab her hand, let's go hunt. Like now I'm thinking of hunting, but out.
It's worth noting that she is in fucked condition.
Yes.
You are pretty much dragging someone.
She's got like broken legs, dude.
Broken legs, no flesh on her limbs. Like nightmarish kind of ground crawling monster at this point.
When I've untangled myself...
You're talking to a Hunger 5 Moses who wants to take...
Oh, no, I'm just clarifying before you
to take the misshapen Alice and his Hunger 5 self outside. If I'm gonna kill somebody, it's gonna be outside. Okay. If something's gonna go awfully wrong, it's gonna be outside.
Okay, so as I'm disentangling myself, does Alice seem to have stopped going crazy? Is she calm?
She is almost like someone that's still like gripped by a kind of confusion, and she is not resisting anything.
So she's like in shock.
Yeah. The fact that she's breathing is a dead giveaway.
And Moses seems conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But very Jim-like.
Yeah.
Okay. So Benjamin
Jim-like, I love that means dangerously conscious.
I haven't seen you or Katia in like full-on hunger, I don't think.
No.
So I'll say to you, I'll say, just get her to the car. I'll make sure they're okay upstairs. Get her out of sight.
As you say this, and they turn towards the door, you look up the stairs and see Susan there with a cricket bat just staring. And based upon the shock and horror on her face, she's been there for a while.
Okay.
And we're going to pause there.
Forget! Do it to kill Michael Chase! It's official.
Yeah.
It's dead.
Yeah. Well, if I wasn't the head, I'd say I'm horny now. I can't be horny now. I'm
Tusky.
So I apologise you were left to brood. Well, you probably liked it, but you're left to brood for a bit longer than planned. But
remember, he was triple torpid. Torporception.
Yeah.
So, but trust me, you'll have plenty to do next episode. Probably too much.
Plenty of healing to do first. Come on. I got a lot of shit to heal. I got a lot of blood to be drinking.
Yeah,
Come on.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for joining us. Apologies again for the initial tech issues. They've, we've gotten around them now. So thank you for joining us, and we will see everybody. When do we always film
I don't
this?
know. We will see you next week.
We will see you next week. It's trying to build up suspense.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of Blood on the Thames. If you'd like to keep up with all the latest news, follow us on Twitter and Facebook and ShrekNet, the links to which are down below. And remember, if you want to join us live, be sure to tune in every Monday at 7 p.m. on Twitch. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.